talk about. Are we prompt or what?
We are prompt with a capital T. Prompt. Hello, everybody. I heard somebody's. Is that yours, Liz? Your phone?
Yeah.
Okay.
Telling me that you just went live.
What is this early morning start time nonsense?
Early? It's not early.
Well, for us it is over here in Cowboy.
The cowboy land.
World.
Well, and then
Cowboy land.
Logan's in Central Time
In
Zone.
COVID Cowboy land.
Yeah.
I'm in Central Time Zone.
Yeah.
It's early and cold.
Oh, Central. Yeah, that will be quite.
Yeah, so is Logan. Yeah. So I think that he's feeling your pain, Nick.
There's Laura. Hey, Laura. Well, good to see
Laura
you.
Davis. I am loving this time.
Who
She said,
just
yeah,
had a
it's like,
birthday this past week.
oh.
She
happy
has.
And
belated
it was a
birthday.
big
that's
one
right,
with a
yeah.
0 on the end.
Ooh, 20, huh?
Oh, Logan's in Mountain Time. Okay. So he's even...
Oh, even
It's like
that's
6:30.
really early.
Wow, Logan. That's
No,
look at that.
he's on Pacific Time. Or no, that's Tim Van Ram is on Pacific.
Tim is in Pacific time. Wow.
Is he here? Oh my God!
Are you
yeah,
crazy,
he is.
Tim? What's wrong with you?
He gets
Wow.
bonus APG points for that.
Yeah, we'll give him. Let's go ahead. Hey, staff, go ahead and give him some extra points.
Let's give him some applause, Jeff.
Oh,
Ray.
Oh, I was thinking
very
of you
nice,
playing
very
that
nice.
clip there, but anyway.
what a guy! What a guy! Let's see here. Adjust the color.
Yeah, the Europeans are pretty darn happy though.
I don't know why.
There you go.
Oh,
Oh, an angel.
he's all angelic and everything.
Oh, look at that! Isn't that cute?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Laura's got is in her evening. She'll be going to bed soon.
We're not your personal mirror.
We have
you
the
know.
obligatory.
Oh, yes, you
Jeff
are.
plays around with his hair.
I need
Yeah.
to adjust. I just make sure that the color temperature is.
I agree, Laura. It's great to have Nick back. Both
that-
Nicks.
Oh, you won't say that in a minute.
Oh,
Oh,
Yeah,
I need
we're
to
all
put some
going to.
overlays in, by the way.
Well, get on it.
Yeah, I do.
did you update?
I'm doing my best.
Did you update the YouTube on the website, Jeff?
I did.
Okay, John's just asking here, so I'll go find it and get it.
Oh,
to him.
it's also in the calendar.
Yeah, gotcha.
thing.
Yeah.
Okay. Sweet. Yeah, right, Logan. We know who your favorite is. Okay. I guess we need to... Wow.
What?
Can you pronounce his name?
No,
No.
but welcome. I think he must be. Is he in Israel? Maybe.
That would be a good guess. It
I'm
looks
thinking. Oh, there's
like
iHall
Hebrew.
boxes. Good morning, iHall, wherever you are.
for all of you over there in
Well-
the Facebook. Liz just put in a link to the YouTube if you want to hang out with all the cool kids. Looks like most everybody's on YouTube.
Well, Logan, interesting you should say that about Nick C having his own music. We were just working on that, but that was iHall boxes. Sorry about that. He said, "Does
Yeah.
Nick C get his own music?" Well, next time. Didn't quite
Okay,
happen for this time.
So I'm going to do this. I'm going to turn on the echo chamber.
Ooh,
Just warning those of you in.
Laura.
Oh, no.
Thanks.
Yes.
Yes.
Save us.
Okay, now it's on. Now, hang on. The reason why I'm doing this is so that you can hear
Words
this.
twice. Words twice.
Shh. Just don't talk.
Don't.
I'm on my Anyway,
He's
That
the
will be the-
Wichita lineman.
that's a
and he's
Wichita
with us.
lineman. Let me turn off your echo. Okay. It's interesting. It's not echoing for me because of the way I'm routing the sound, but for you all, it is. So it should be okay now. You may speak.
Thank you, Jeff.
How are we going to set all the levels without main man Micah here?
Yeah, really.
Oh, no.
Well,
You
I
are
can
a
already tell you're a bit loud.
hot,
Well, you are for me anyway.
yeah, a little bit.
Compared to me. Okay, so
How about now?
I can adjust that if
That's
you want.
better.
Oh, that's right. We did that last time. Yeah, Mike or Jeff can take care of everything.
Okay,
No.
did you have the automatic levels ticked?
Oh, there's Tanya.
I don't, but
Okay.
I can move it around, or you can move it around.
Wow, thank you for that, Nick.
Sorry, I did
Nick,
cover my mouth, but obviously it
That was
didn't
really
work.
loud.
Nick's
well,
a
I
little
mean,
loud
it-
too.
Whoop.
Yeah,
Oh,
it was
wait.
very loud.
Your wings are flying off the screen there, Nick.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. I can't be bothered to fix that now. That's all too hard. They're not flying off my screen, actually.
Yeah, they look quite perfect on.
Yeah, they're better now.
They look fine on mine.
Isle Shay, or is it Eel Shay?
Huh?
Israeli
Israel.
friend.
The
I'm assuming it's Israel. I wouldn't know because I don't understand that
Oh, Alan from Dublin. Hi, good
the
morning.
writing.
Oh,
Yes, it is. I think he speaks for all of us.
That's maybe his
Nick was
name,
greatly
Eel Shay.
missed. But now he's back, and we don't miss him at all.
yeah. Now we realize that
Now
it
we
was really a
wish
blessing.
he'd go away again.
Yeah,
No, I'm just kidding.
absolutely. I'm off. By the way, I'm just mentioned Ireland in my plain tale that I'm writing right now.
I know you're working ahead. I'm so
I
impressed.
am. I'm done a whole page of the Crazy Barons story.
So both Nicks are loud. So
Yeah, well, Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a Nick problem, I'm afraid.
I think
It
I
just
can
comes
actually,
with the territory. If you want a Nick on board, we're going to be loud.
So I can adjust your individual volumes.
Oh, can
That
you
must
now?
be something they've added recently. So I'm going to.
Do I have maybe 90 seconds to run up and make coffee real quick?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Coffee?
sure.
Go
All right,
get it.
Yeah. Make sure you make some for everyone though.
Yeah, bring a whole pot.
Yeah.
It's not that I
Yeah,
drink
he
coffee.
doesn't realise that all the new presenters, that's their job.
Yes,
They're coffee boy.
Exactly.
Okay. So so does everybody think that my volume now, Liz, your volume is a lot lower than everybody else's for me, anyway.
Is that better?
That is better.
Okay.
And
Nick A has a tiny echo. Well, that's not the only thing. But
what do you mean
let's
he has
just-
a tiny echo?
I don't hear it, but
I don't either.
Okay.
no, it's really early there, Logan. Maybe it's your. Oh, there's Sam. Hi, Sam.
It's reverberating around your
Maren.
ears. That's what it is. Oh, yeah, I've got to do these. I'll stop messing about and put these overlays in.
So
Right.
hello.
Oh, yay! He's come
Welcome
over from
to
Facebook. Hi, Ayel.
YouTube.
That
So,
overlay.
Logan, are you still hearing echo from Nick Anderson?
Can you
Captain
speak,
Nick?
Speak, Nick.
Speak, Nick. Speak, Nick.
Oh, I do
that-
hear what Logan's saying. There is a little bit of a
Oh, dear.
something there.
Well, I never.
Oh, I don't hear it.
I can hear a
It's
dog
kind of a
bark.
little bit of a bark.
Yeah.
Yeah.
in your
Roar.
voice.
Ruff, ruff, ruff. What do you think of the show so far? Ruff.
It's pretty rough.
Yeah.
You're listening to the Airline Pilot Guy Show.
How's the volume on that?
Seems a little low to me, but maybe
Low?
I'm just used to hearing the guys being so high.
Well, it sounds low to me too. I mean, how low can you go?
I don't know. Limbo.
Right. What was I doing? I was doing.
So here, I'm going to very carefully move the volume up on radio.
You're listening to the Airline Pilot Guy Show.
The view from our side of the cockpit door.
Yeah, it's good. Good.
Okay.
Yeah, it's good to me.
Okay. Everybody, that sound good to you, Captain Nick?
Yes.
This is confusing having two Nicks and a Rick.
Yeah, we probably need to get rid of one of the Nicks.
We need to call
Okay.
you by your second name. What's your second name, Jeff? Nick. What's
This-
your second name? What's your middle name?
Let's go ahead and just knock him out of this whole thing while he's not there. This can be a lot easier to fire him like this.
Lucas. There's Lucas in New Zealand. Yay.
Oh, well, he's probably loving this time.
Lucas, haven't seen you here for a long time.
Lucas Diamond.
Yeah.
Well, hello, sir. The Flying Kiwi, right?
Exactly.
Join us in.
Yeah, I just
in
sent him the
YouTube.
link.
Okay,
Yep.
thank
Just- I'm on it.
you. Thank you. You're on it.
All right, what am I trying to do here?
I don't know. What are you trying to do here?
I'm useless.
8:41 a.m. in New Zealand.
Wow. Well, that's a really
Yeah. So
no. It's 8:41 and here on the east coast of the U.S.
he says it's 8:41 a.m. That's what he's saying right there. See, I'm not lying. Oops, not that. Oh no, it says on the timestamp on his thing. Oh no,
Yeah, that's
sorry.
our time.
That's our time. Oh, God.
I'm thinking,
Wah,
how can it be the same
wah.
time in New Zealand as it is here? I don't think that's possible.
Okay, let's start that over again. Oh, 3 a.m. It's 3 a.m.
Oh, okay.
Now
Yeah,
that's
a little different.
dedication.
Wow.
He just
So
knocked
he's
Tim
up
Van Ram
late.
out. He just knocked Tim Van Ram out of the running
Yeah.
of most dedicated.
Tim Van Ram, sorry. We don't have
And
any
it's-
sympathy for you anymore.
It's 3:41 p.m. in Israel. So we've got a very international crowd.
Sorry about that.
Well, that was
Just
Nick's
checking my
rate.
heart rate.
Are you okay? You good?
Yeah, I am now. Yeah.
He's so excited
Okay.
to see us. It's making his heart go pitter pat.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm going to if you don't mind, I'm going to make a little cup of coffee as well.
Oh, well, I'm going to have to as well. Then.
Isn't it beer time for
Lord.
you, Nick?
Look, everyone in the chat room, go make yourself a coffee, will you? Because it's going to take a while.
I'd make a coffee, but I don't drink it.
Ah,
I love coffee.
whatever happened to the young Nick that used to send in feedback? Well, he's dead. He's been replaced by an older, much more grumpy version. Actually, I couldn't get more grumpy than the original.
The curmudgeon was pretty
The old
grumpy.
curmudgeon.
We loved him. He was crusty
Yeah.
and curmudgeon.
He was, crusty around the edges. He was like a badly made pie.
Cheers, Laura. Irish coffee. Oh, yeah, that's not a bad idea.
Oh, God. That's a bit early for me. Even earlier for you guys. Right, back in a minute.
Yeah. Everybody's. Everybody's making coffee now, Nick.
Oh, yeah.
Nothing like some Saturday morning singing from Jeff. Just sets you up for the weekend, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Community, except Laura Davis and who else? No, I'm just kidding. I love you all. Oh, I can say that and not have to worry about.
Yeah, you can say it at the top of your lungs.
I love you.
How are the kids, Nick? Everybody good?
Good. Yep, good. I just got him off. That was my part
Oh.
of the extended absence here. Was my wife was just
Yeah.
rounding him up to take him off on an adventure. So we just got him out the
Oh,
door while
okay,
I was
cool.
up there grabbing coffee.
Ah. Is it
Slightly
cold
early morning for them too.
Yeah, no kidding. Is it cold there today?
Yes.
Yes.
So it's been really nice this week. You know, we had the bad cold snap. We got a ton of
Yeah.
snow, and then it was Jeff was here. I met Jeff for lunch, and it was like
Right.
65 or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah,
60
nice.
when Jeff was here, and it's been nice all week. And then yesterday it was nice but really windy,
Yeah.
and so I went out this morning in just my hooded sweatshirt, and it
Yeah.
was 17 degrees.
Yeah.
when I walked
See,
out this
and we're
morning.
about a day later. Like it's been the same thing here.
Oh, yeah.
The cold air is going to hit about tonight, I think, but it's getting
Yeah.
very icy here. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because of all the melting that's happened, it's going to go icy.
Right. Yeah, it was. It was really odd because I mean we still have a tiny bit of snow, but you know when they plow the roads, we'd end up with these like 2 or 3
Yep.
foot tall.
Yep.
So I was driving around all week in this like beautiful spring-like weather, and there's still all this snow along
I
the
know.
sides of the road.
I know. Disconnect.
Yeah.
All right, I need to get some water. I'll be right back.
Okay, coffee's ready. Oh. That's what when you know you're old when you make noises every time you get up or sit down.
Yeah.
Tony Smith, my gosh. What's wrong with you being so late? We've had to interrupt our show in progress. Just kidding. We haven't started yet. Obviously. I'm the only one here now. Hello, everyone.
Okay.
Mid-70s in Frisco. Be on the bay all
He's
day
going
in your
out
boat.
on the water. Nice.
In your boat. Beer's here. I'm off to work. Something's off here. Huh?
I don't know. Don't get it.
What, you work on Saturday, Neil? Don't you get the weekend off? I guess not. Cabin looks nice. Thanks, Lucas. Yeah, it's a little chilly though. I'm up to, let's see, just shy of 16 Celsius in here. 60. And but that's a little bit warmer than it was overnight. Inside. It goes down to about 55, which is about 12. 12 is 54, I think.
Nice for sleeping, though.
Yeah, I love it. And this comforter keeps me all nice and toasty.
Cozy.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, Laura's
So how
got
many
the
cars
right
did you
idea.
crash today, Laura?
Not nearly enough. Okay, we're all back. Let's go.
Quick start while we're all here.
What? Oh, okay.
Before anybody leaves again.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, hang on. Let me get the Evernote
Oh, yeah.
all
but-
set.
Okay.
Okay. Now I'm snorting now.
Yeah.
Shoot. That's how you can tell you're an old man. You snort when you laugh. Okay, so Steffi's not here.
Nah,
She's still
she's
on a
conferencing.
conference,
Yeah.
learning all that doctory
Things
stuff.
are going downhill for Steph. Let's just say that.
Yeah, they're definitely going downhill. Good one, Liz. and our air freight captain is not here. He is flying. I think.
Actually out freighting right now.
Out freighting.
Yeah.
Let's see. So I
Got to
do
get
need
those
to
boxes delivered.
Yep, that's how I managed to get my new camera bits, I reckon. Rick must have flown them
Yeah,
over
he
for
expedited them.
Oh,
Yeah.
When you're finally having for that fancy new camera you've had for a year.
me. I finally bought a flash for it.
Oh, okay.
You going to
So
take
you're-
some nice shots, some headshots of Jeff when he's there?
Yeah, could do. Oh,
As
look,
long as
my
he doesn't-
video's
as long as-
flashing again. It hasn't
as
been
long as
doing
he
that
doesn't-
for years.
Well, years is a bit of an exaggeration.
Ages.
Thank you.
bit.
Okay, we ready?
Hang on.
Oh, I need to start my
Recorders.
deal.
Oh, yeah. That's a good idea. That is a capital idea.
Capital.
Okay.
Just capital.
No, I need to
From
just
the air
read the
cap.
show notes. Can you give me half an hour or so?
Oh, Micah's up. Wow, Micah.
Oh,
you
yeah,
dear.
gosh.
Thank you for
Maybe
getting
he
up
just
so
hasn't gone to
early.
bed yet. Hasn't gone to
Maybe.
bed yet, probably.
And Tony and James in Hampshire. Oh, you're in.
Oh, James, we're in the same county.
I was
Isn't
gonna
that
s-
marvellous?
Yeah, I know. Look out, Nick. He's on his way over.
Yeah, well, I only have to move a mile and I'll be in Surrey. I'll be in the next county. Or a mile down there, I'll be in Sussex.
I'd say you're already surly.
Everybody's so witty for this
Oh, I
early
know.
morning.
So witty.
Yes.
So witty. Okay, so I'm recording.
This is what Laura's drinking right now. Leinenkugel's chocolate dunkel.
Oh my God. What's
That
a
does sound
dunkel?
good. It's a German dark.
Beer.
Yeah,
Sounds good. I wonder if she has a
Beer.
chocolate donut to dunk in that.
it's a German.
That's
a
real
dark
dunkel
lager.
donuts there.
Oh, that's the kind of Dunkel donut I want to have.
Exactly.
Okay.
James is near Winchester, Nick.
Winchester Cathedral.
Yeah, my wife laughs. She
You're
did all her
bringing me
teacher
down.
training at Winchester.
Oh, Neville Bounds. Good morning, Nev. Well, good afternoon, Nev. Hey, Nev.
How you doing, Nev?
Nev, baby. How you doing, Nev, baby?
Hey, you know where I might be going?
Where?
I might be going to hell. No, I might be going to. Probably a good chance of it, actually. No, I'm going to be probably joining Dispatcher Tom in Austin, Texas, in October.
Oh, for what? That's for.
Well, they got this little F1 race.
Oh yeah.
Oh, Jeff.
Oh, wow.
Ooh.
I just had a conversation with him last night, and said, "When is that Austin race?" And he showed me what hotel he was staying in New Braunfels, and I went, "Okay."
Oh, and
I
you
made a
can eat
reservation as
barbecue
well.
there, too.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
My sister just had a baby down in Austin
Oh, did she? Okay, I'll have to visit her then.
Tuesday.
Not
So maybe I'll
Austin's-
zip down there and see you.
Austin's
Yeah.
a happening place.
It is, and that the F1 race they held this year was pretty insane. The amount of people, the crowd engagement, and everything seemed like they did a really good job.
Cool.
Yeah.
Everybody
Okay.
got the
Sounds
recorders on?
Yep.
Recorder's on, and let me get my.
I must go and buy a recorder just so I can play it at that moment.
Oh, I have one somewhere. I just don't know where. It's probably in the
I'm
box.
sure I can still do Frere Jacques on it.
Okay.
Exactly.
Let's see. I got that. So, at the end of the show, let's get the order for saying goodbye set before we start this whole thing. Nick's going to say, Captain Nick is going to say goodbye. And then who wants to go next? I guess seniority-wise, it would be Liz, and then Nick C.
Okay. And why are we doing
And
this
no
in such
copying what the person before said.
and why are we
Well,
doing
yeah.
this in such a formalized way now?
Well, because the last couple of shows, people are like talking over each other, and
Oh,
so
I
I
see.
can't really fix that in post.
Okay. All right. So Nick
Yeah.
A, me, then Nick C. Got it.
All right. And let's see, what else was I going to talk about?
You know, that was my thought too, Micah. I didn't want to say anything, but
He didn't survive. Oh yeah.
He's
We're
coming
here
to us from
today.
a very long distance.
Look,
We're here
I'm
today
just
to remember Captain Nick.
I'm just doing my license, my type rating with these wings, in case I need them in the future. That's all.
You wish.
Well, where you're going, sir, I don't think
Yeah.
you're going to need them.
Well, you guys will be together. And
You're
I'll be there too.
horrid. You're horrid.
I'm just kidding.
No, too late now. You can't suck that back in.
Can you Photoshop that and like make those red?
With some
could.
flames.
a little bifurcated tail.
That's Liz. Come on.
Yeah, that's
We've
me.
all
That's
seen-
right. Yeah.
Oh man.
We should
We've
have
all
that
seen
as
the
an
little
over-
devil Liz.
We should have that as an overlay.
All right. You ready?
Yeah, let's go.
Okay. You know what? My refrigerator just came on. Stop it! Hang on.
Thanks for getting up early, everybody, for this scintillating
Right here.
pre-show.
Hang on. Just a moment. All right.
It's only 2:00 in the afternoon, Liz. That's fine.
Oh yeah, I see what
not-
now
not
you're
in
talking
New
about.
Zealand.
It's like a little, not an echo, but a kind of a reverberation.
Yeah, a little
from
reverb
Nick.
there.
Yeah, reverb.
I still think he's a little hot too, but
Well, no, that's what a lot of people think.
sorry, Jilly. I just do.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
Here we go. You ready?
Yep.
Let's do it.
You're listening to the Airline Pilot Guy Show.
The view from our side of the cockpit door.
WAPG, it's the Airline Pilot Guy. Airline Pilot Guy episode 509.
Yeah, he's up in the sky. It's the Airline Pilot Guy.
Hello, you're listening to the Airline Pilot Guy Show, the view from our side of the cockpit door, with Yost Captain Jeff broadcasting live from Studio 1A at APG headquarters in Lake Burton, Georgia. Today's show is recorded on Lincoln's birthday, the 12th of February, 2022.
Yeah, he's up in the sky. It's the Airline Pilot Guy. Put your light and it's flying by. With the Airline Pilot Guy.
In today's episode, Frontier and Spirit want to merge. 7 people die in the crash of a tourist plane in Peru. More news, your feedback, and today's plane tale, the life-saving bomber. So get all settled in. Tray tables, seat backs in the upright and locked positions. Electronic devices
Fix it in
powered
post.
on.
Yeah.
I'm Radio Roger, and Flight 509 is ready for pushback.
Thank you, Radio Roger. He is an award-winning TV and radio reporter, currently at the #1 all-news station in the nation. Come on, let's all say it together.
New York City.
There we
New
go.
York
City.
City.
Welcome to the...
Delay.
Welcome. That was a bad idea. Welcome to the Airline Pilot Show. Wait a minute. Welcome to the Airline Pilot Guy Show, an aviation podcast covering the latest in aviation news and answering your feedback. I'm Captain Jeff, and I'm a pilot, believe it or not, at a major legacy airline based in Atlanta, GA. And joining me today from his studio,
in Hartford, Hereford, and Hampshire.
he is a professional photographer, former RAF, RAAF fighter pilot, retired Airbus A330, A340 captain for Virgin Atlantic Airways. It's Captain Nick.
Hi there, Jeff and everybody. Lovely to be back on the show after a small break while I was testing my new wings.
Well, we'll hear all about it in the Getting to Know Us segment. Can't wait. And also joining us from her studio in Toronto, Canada, retired financier and aviation enthusiast, spreadsheet master, and our producer-director, it's Liz Piper.
Hi, everybody. Happy Saturday or Sunday if you're in New Zealand.
Yeah, or whatever day it is that you're listening. Happy day. And also joining us from his home studio in the air capital, low and slow pilot, old airplane enthusiast, and engineer in the aerospace and defense industry from Wichita, Kansas, Nick Camacho.
Hey, everybody. Glad to be back. Usually it's Captain Nick complaining about the timeliness of the show, but this time I guess I'm the Nick that gets to complain about
There'll be no
the timing
complaining
of the
here,
show.
or you're out of here. Off with your head. All right. Let's talk some news here. And
Where's
what
that Nick
happened
A
to
gone?
Nick is gone. He's had it with us. Apparently I said something to upset him.
He's taken umbrage.
Yeah, he's just blacked himself out for some reason. Well,
There he is.
He's back.
Sorry about that. The my wife has just returned, and of course the dogs start barking because it's very exciting.
oh, okay. Well, okay. So we all set to go with
Yep.
this whole news thing? All right. Let's do some aviation news.
Stand by for news.
All right. Let's talk about this first item.
Jeff, sorry,
our
I'm just
news?
going to interrupt you for a sec. Can you hear me on clean feed? Let me just get out of here a minute. I've been talking to you. I just didn't think you heard me.
No, I didn't. Why didn't I hear you? I don't think you're... It says connected, but I don't... Oh, now you're gone completely from clean feed. And now you're back. Yeah, I can hear you now. Hey, no problem. And now, are you on your Motu and PR40, or it sounds like you're on the computers? But on the no, it says you're on your MacBook Pro microphone on Clean Feed. Ah, yes, much better. Okay. All right. Now, I think we've worked out all the technical issues. Probably not, but we're gonna pick up right from here. Let's start off with this first item in news. 11 dead in 2 tourist plane crashes in Iceland and Peru. The first article is from IcelandReview.com, which I like to read on occasion. Search and rescue teams have found the sightseeing plane that went missing around midday on Thursday. The craft was found in, I have no idea how to pronounce this because I don't even know what that letter is at the beginning of the word. It kind of looks like
the V.
I don't know. Or is it, what is that? That's a weird letter.
Okay.
That lake. The name of the lake? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, there's a lake there in Iceland. Thank you.
If it's a P, it would be Ping Valavatten.
Ping Valavatten.
I guess.
But
I don't know if that is pronounced like a P.
I don't either.
It looks like an odd P.
Which
is something that happens to me occasionally.
If we have any Icelandic folk listening to the show, send us some feedback and tell us exactly what that strange-looking letter is and how you would pronounce it. Anyway, the craft was found in this lake by a remote-controlled submarine at 11 p.m. on Friday night. There were 4 casualties in the crash. An experienced Icelandic pilot, 3 foreign tourists who were from Belgium, the Netherlands, and the U.S., respectively. Nearly 1,000 people took part in the search, including around 900 search and rescue team members. The Coast Guard, 900 search and rescue team members. Coast Guard's helicopter and special operations squadrons, police officers, members of civil protection, the National Police Commissioner Special Squadron, employees of Isavia, the national airport and air service provider of Iceland, as well as private individuals. In its announcement about the discovery of the plane, the Coast Guard thanked all those who had taken part in the search for their selfless and dedicated work under demanding conditions. And so they're doing the investigation to figure out what happened. As of the time of this article, there was not any indication of what caused the accident. No, nor was it known if there was a black box on board that could potentially shed light on the circumstances of the crash. I highly doubt it because this airplane was a Cessna 172. So probably not any kind of flight data recorder or cockpit voice recorder. Let's see, Iceland police had advised that poor weather conditions and difficult conditions at that lake would make it unlikely that they would be able to extract the plane before next week. They found the airplane in the southeastern part of the lake at a considerable distance from the shoreline and a depth of 48 meters, which is 157 feet approximately. This is a difficult depth for divers to work at, not to mention that the water temperature ranges between 0 and -1 C. That's cold. Very cold. Looks like a sightseeing tour plane crashed for some reason. We don't know why. The pilot that was the experienced Icelandic pilot is also the president of the Airline Pilots Association. The Aircraft Owners and Pilots Association. AOPA. AOPA, Iceland, the president of that organization. Nick is flashing. Oh, we'll tell him to cover himself up.
I'm going to reset my camera. Shouldn't affect the audio.
All right. His name is Haraldur Diago, was a passionate advocate for general aviation in Iceland, the leader of AOPA Iceland, and a pilot who operated a sightseeing business that produced countless images of volcanoes and other spectacular scenery. So that's, Yeah, he was the pilot in command of the sightseeing flight, and apparently quite a distinguished record. He was a Royal Danish Bombardier Challenger 604. No, I'm sorry, that was something else. They called that in for surveillance. Anyway, so we're not sure what happened there, but it was a Cessna. Keep that in mind, because our next article is from another website I like to visit, channelnewsasia.com. Let's see. 5 tourists and 2 crew died Friday, February 4, when their plane crashed on a trip to view Peru's famous, is it Nazca Lines or Nazca Lines? Not sure. Liz, you have any idea? Nazca? The Cessna 207 single-engine plane belonging to the Arasantos Tourism Company came down shortly after takeoff from the small airport of Maria Richa in Nazca around noon. There were no survivors among the 7 on board. The tourists were 2 Chileans and 3 people from the Netherlands, the Civil Defense Office in Nazca said. Dozens of planes operate from the Maria Richa airfield, flying tourists, mainly foreigners, over the Nazca Lines, a UNESCO World Heritage Site. The fabled lines, one of Peru's top tourist attractions, were etched into the desert floor some 220 miles south of Lima between 500 BC and 500 AD, according to UNESCO, and depict animals, plants, imaginary beings, and geometric figures several kilometers long. The Cessna crashed as it was beginning its aerial tour of the site. Excuse me, Liz? Oh, yeah, another Cessna. Now, it was a different news organization that had some kind of a headline about 2 Cessna crashes in the last week. Like there's something, like we have to really be, I don't know, what's the word I'm looking for?
Cautious of flying in Cessnas. All the Cessnas are falling out of the sky. What are we going to do?
Single engine ones to be, so if you're, by the way, I guess this would be a good public service announcement. If you're a pilot and you fly the Cessna, like a single engine Cessna, I wouldn't get in it because look, those 2 just crash. Yeah,
well, it is just the most common aircraft of its type, really, just about anywhere in the world. And I don't think there are many pilots, certainly from Western countries, that completed all their flying training without setting foot in a Cessna. So, I mean, they are unbelievably common, numerous, and a fine trainer and a fine airplane. So, nothing wrong with the Cessna.
I know. And if you look at the Air Safety Network, it's too early for me to be doing this on the show.
You're supposed to be at your sharpest.
Aviation Safety Network, is that what it's called? That has all the data for incidents, accidents, and that kind of thing. I mean, just look at any particular day, and you'll see several Cessnas that have had issues or crashes or incidents. Yeah. Oh, Sam says, and from our live audience, the 207 is a 6-seat airplane. Very interesting. There were 7 people in it.
Yeah, I think it's actually a 7-seat airplane.
Oh.
The 206 is a 6-seat airplane. The 207 is kind of stretched if you look at it.
Oh, and
yeah.
Maybe they call
can
it
fit
207.
one in the baggage compartment.
Okay. But I guess the whole point of this was, I guess it was a simple flying article, Liz, is that right? That we were looking at that like made it seem like, oh no, like, the 737 MAX, like 2 737 MAXs crashed, 2 Cessnas crashed. There must be something going on. But if you looked through all of the flying and all of the actual incident reports, probably more than 2 Cessnas had some sort of incidents over the course of the week, just because like Nick said, the volume of them, and the type of flying they do. A lot of trainers, so okay.
Hopefully not many as bad as these 2, but
okay. Let's see. I'm just going to go in here to the aviationsafety.net website and looking for, this is a bad idea to do this while we're recording live. Because I have yet to see. Oh, here's a Cessna 172 Skyhawk. That was the Aerodromo Canal Bajo Carlos. I don't know where this is. On the 10th of February. Here's another Cessna 210 Turbo in Honesdale, Pennsylvania. Cessna 172 Skyhawk on the 9th. Oh, it was. Yeah, Micah has a good point. Not the Cessna Max, I hope. Well,
could have been.
Could have been. Yeah. Anyway, the point, of course, is that there are a lot of Cessnas out there, and a lot of crashes around the world every day.
Yeah, to Sam's point, I think what he was kind of getting at was how the airplane was loaded. I don't think there's any information in there talking about what actually caused the crash. I don't think they know yet, but
no,
that is a 7-seat airplane. A lot of times these smaller general aviation airplanes have a number of seats, and then they have a capability of what they can carry, and those don't always line up, especially as people have gotten bigger over time. I think an FAA standard person used to be 170 pounds, just what they used for calculations and stuff for engineering. And I was trying to get a feel for what the useful load on a 207 is, and it looks like it's around 16 or 1700 pounds. So if you got 7 people on there, some of them are maybe a little bit bigger. It does seem like it would have been a pretty heavy airplane, even if they weren't overloaded. They were probably flying around
max,
pretty close to the top end of the envelope. But like I said, I don't think we have any indication that's what caused it. Just kind of an interesting note to me, too, to see there were 7 people in the airplane.
That is interesting. All right. Well, I don't know if we're going to... Well, hopefully we'll learn what happened there. But, because it's not a commercial aviation incident, sometimes we don't really hear a lot about it, especially if it's not here in North America. But anyway, if we... get any more information about it, we'll probably cover it.
I mean, particularly the AOPA president, because, you don't get to be the president of a country's AOPA organization without being a well-respected pilot with a great deal of experience. So, I doubt very much that he made a mistake. We can't say that for sure, but it might well have been a mechanical problem.
Yep. And let's see, Nettie Sigun says, like the Cherokee 6 Lance, the Cessna 207 has 3 rows of seats in a 232 configuration.
Yeah, and the other thing that I was thinking about with the 172 crash, I didn't, we flew an airplane over to Europe a few years ago. I didn't do any of the actual transatlantic flying, but I was involved in all the training and everything. So I learned a fair amount about the overwater operations and everything. And, there's just no time. When the water is that cold, there's just no time to accomplish anything. And I would think that if you had an issue and you ended up with an airplane in the water, it seems like you'd be lucky to get, the front seat people out because they're right next to the doors. But in a 4-place Cessna with 4 people in it, man, it sure seems like it'd be a challenge to get people out of the back of that airplane in a timely manner with the water that cold. Seems like a bad situation.
Oh, yeah. And even if you got out, your time of survival from the middle of a lake would be measured in a small number of minutes.
Yep.
Yeah.
That temperature. By the way, Neddy Seagoon in the chat room, you may not recognize the name. Comes from an old comedy show, English comedy show called The Goons, a 50s comedy show. So thank you, Neddy Seagoon. I didn't think you were still alive.
Huh. And he's listening to the APG. That's amazing.
I know. It's remarkable.
Nettie has another good point, Liz says, especially in Peru at high altitudes, a fully loaded Cessna 207 would have,
Yeah, I was trying to figure that out too. I didn't see any mention of how high it was, because I was thinking about that as well. But it did say it crashed in a deserty type of area. I thought. No, I can't even find that line. But here, like in our, we have some high desert areas down in the Southwest where the terrain is fairly high, 7,000 or 8,000 feet. So that could also be a factor.
Absolutely. Well, really, the main reason why we're recovering is because, it was two Cessnas that crashed like within a couple of days of each other.
Yeah.
Okay. Liz says that the Nazca lines themselves are at 502 meters altitude.
So what is that, about 1,700 feet or something?
Yeah, it's not very high.
That isn't,
I guess.
That isn't real high.
Well, anyway, I think that's enough. We'll hopefully learn more as time goes on from both of those incidents. Here's something that's been in the news, especially here in the United States. Two low-cost carriers, so-called, Frontier and Spirit, announce a merger plan to become the 5th largest airline in the U.S. This from the paddleyourown.canoe.com. A lot of news articles from that. Let's see. The airlines presented the merger as a big win for consumers because it will not only drive an estimated $1 billion in annual savings that can be used for lower fares, but will enable the new airline to more aggressively compete against the likes of American, Delta, Acme, and United Airlines. They didn't actually say Acme. I threw that in there. Anyway, Frontier is controlled by Indigo Partners, a private equity company that also owns the Chilean ULCC JetSmart and has major stakes in Mexico's Volaris and Europe's Wizz Air. Indigo Partners says it drove the merger talks between Frontier and Spirit. We worked jointly with the board of directors and senior management team across both carriers to arrive at a combination of two complementary businesses that together will create America's most competitive ultra-low fare airline for the benefit of consumers. Let's see. They said it was a perfect fit with complementary route networks and an all Airbus fleet. So, So it looks like if it's approved by the Department of Justice, I think, is that what? No, what is it that looks at that in the what is it? Commerce? Department of Commerce. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're going to look at and see whether or not, because I think that they kind of poo-pooed the whole idea between American and JetBlue to kind of be more closely allied in the past. So people are wondering whether or not this one is going to, make, if it's going to fly. Thank you, Liz. Very funny. But, I would agree, Frontier Airlines here in the U.S. is mostly concentrated in the western portion of the states, although they do go, to several locations on the East Coast as well. But Spirit is mostly concentrated in the eastern half of the U.S., so I can really see that this would be quite a good match, I guess.
Do you believe them when they say that this merger would drive a $1 billion annual savings? Where are they going to save $1 billion?
I don't know. And then exactly what is the $1 billion annual savings? I mean, for them?
Yeah, I was going to say, if anything, it seems like maybe for them.
Right. And of course, I'm sure that they'll completely translate that into savings for the.
Oh, absolutely.
Right.
Yeah, none will go to the shareholders. No. And, so the all the pilots and cabin crew, etc., all the people that sell the tickets, I suppose you can save on people who are, manning the check-in desks, that sort of thing, but a lot of it's done online anyway. The management levels will be able to merge and get rid of some managers, but $1 billion worth? No, I don't think so.
Yeah, I wondered if they were maybe looking at being able to streamline, the aircraft loading that they could do. So, maybe they're each operating at 50 or 70% capacity right now because of COVID. And they're thinking, well, maybe if we can merge and fly one airplane at 100% capacity versus two airplanes at 50% capacity, maybe that would affect their bottom line. But
Yeah.
I don't really understand how.
Yeah, I think that's kind of pie in the sky. Oh, that could be a new airline. Let's
Ooh, pie
let's
in
make
the
an
sky.
airline called Pie in the Sky. Yeah, I like that.
Oh, yeah, just shut your pie
That's
hole.
usually just nothing but blurb because the reality won't see that. But yeah, lack of competition. Do these two airlines really compete? I don't know. Are they
On
operating in the
some
same
routes-
areas?
On some routes they do, but not a lot. I think that's another reason why they think that this is going to be a good match,
Yeah.
marriage. And somebody had mentioned, I'm sorry, I forget who, that this $1 billion in savings supposedly without job cuts. In fact, they're talking about hiring more people.
Yep, Sam said that.
They got a bunch of Airbuses on order.
You know, I reckon if an airline could work out how to do this properly, they'd be worth investing in. But I don't know how they
I
can
haul
do
boxes. 1 billion inches of leg space will be saved.
that. Yes. Oh dear.
Good point.
Absolutely.
Anyway, yeah. As far as the paint scheme, who knows what kind of interesting. I don't know. I would imagine that one of these, maybe Frontier, will be the dominant. You know, they'll call it Frontier, I guess. Did they say anywhere in this article what they were? They haven't said. Yeah. So, the Frontier Spirit, or the Spirit of Frontier. No. I don't know. We'll see.
I don't know if Frontier named their airplanes Wilbur Whitetail. I'm a bit worried.
Yeah, they like to put wild creatures on their tail, just like Alaska. Oh wait, no, that's a person that's on the Alaska tail. And it's not Abraham Lincoln.
He looks like a wild creature, that's for sure. That Alaskan.
Oh, and happy
tail
Lincoln's
person.
birthday, by the way.
What is that?
as,
The car manufacturer?
No, that is
Okay.
a president that we had at some point in our nation's
It is,
history.
The chap with the top hat. Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, the Republican with the top hat and a beard. Okay, let's move on, shall we?
By all means.
This is an incident that occurred at the airport that I fly to quite often, and I was not involved because it's not the type of airplane that I fly. But we do have some Vast Aviation footage what is it called? ATC Live audio of the incident. Let's have a listen.
1277, sir.
1277, Atlanta Tower, wind calm, runway 9 right, clear to land.
Direct clear land on 1277.
Okay, I need to put this on pause so I can read it. Delta Airlines Airbus A321-200, November 129 Delta November, performing flight 1277 from Dallas to Atlanta, veered off runway 9 right to the right during landing roll and got disabled on the grass near taxiway Romeo, which is the parallel taxiway to the right of the runway. Fire trucks were rolled immediately. Arrivals on 9 right were delayed. Okay, so I'm going to resume the video here. Okay, they're showing a depiction of...
Hey, you got a problem on 9 right?
What's going on 9 right?
Off the runway in the grass.
Off the runway in the grass, okay, stand by. Everybody stand by.
Tower, Delta 1277, send the trucks out here. We're on Romeo now, short of Romeo 6.
Delta 1277, roger that. Delta 2215, climb maintain 3000, turn right heading 180, and Delta 1277, the trucks are off your right now, they're on the way out there now. And Delta 1277, did you just lose your steering?
I don't want to talk about it.
Delta 2215, flight heading 210, maintain 190 knots.
210 heading 190 knots, Delta 2215.
2215, contact approach 124.6. Southwest 298, go around, climb, maintain 3000, and turn right heading 180.
Heading 180, Southwest 298.
Got a 597, go around, climb, maintain 3000, fly present heading.
Present heading 3,000 feet, Delta 590.
Okay, the aircraft landed, blew a tire, veered off the runway into the grass, striking several runway signs at the Atlanta International Airport. Yeah, somebody made a point, I haul boxes, his voice sounds painful. Yeah, or I don't, what I got from it, the Delta Flight 1277 on the radio there was that he was almost like in shock and shaking, like shaken, and kind of a trembling type of sounding voice. I would imagine that it was quite a wild ride and quite an unexpected event. And yeah, I could imagine that could get your attention and change the timbre and quality of your radio transmissions.
Timber. I thought it was because he was bouncing up and down while he was going.
It did sound like that too. Maybe that could be. Maybe they were still like going over the as Liz said, off-roading, off-runwaying. And the following day, I was taxiing back from runway 28, and that whole area where the 321 went off the runway, they had the runway closed, and there were a whole bunch of vehicles on the runway and lots of people looking around and taking pictures, and you could clearly see the where the tracks of the gear in through the grass and the dirt and everything else were. What did you say, Liz? The tracks of their tears. No, tracks of their tires, actually. Anyway, so yeah, I would now. I wasn't there, and I don't know what it would be like to. And I'm just assuming it was just one tire that failed. I don't know if both tires failed on the right main landing gear or not. I'm not sure. I know those details yet, but. If one, let's say even both tires failed on the right side, it would seem, I don't know, wouldn't it seem possible to keep the airplane on the 150-foot wide runway? Not sure exactly why they couldn't have kept it on the runway, but again, Laura Davis says, "Yeehaw! Do they have four-wheel drive on those?" No,
probably not. I think possibly the tyre failure might have been caused by a brake malfunction, putting the brakes on hard, which might then have caused the tyres to fail and also dragged them off the runway. But won't know for sure.
Oh yeah, that could be. Yeah, if you had a full braking on the right side, that would definitely do it.
Yeah,
unless you immediately put full left braking on and left
and burst those tyres too.
Yeah. Good point. Yeah, maybe that was the best they could do in that situation. I can't wait to find out exactly what happened.
It could have been an ABS failure. So the guy's applying brake pressure, the automatic braking system fails, and you burst your tire.
I think I know why, though. It was an Airbus. That's why.
Almost certainly. Yeah, those Airbuses there, always falling off the runway.
Never happens with a Boeing, ever.
No, ever. No, I've never seen
Especially in
one
Africa, like it happens all the time. Anyway, all right. Enough of that one. Is it time now to go to the next video? Okay. This is an entertaining one. Here, let me get that queued up and hit play. Now, for those just listening to this show, you'll need to look at this video to see the track that the flight takes, because it's kind of important for this news item to see exactly what this pilot did. But we'll do our best to describe it with words. But yeah, check out the video, which we're going to play right now.
The 247 Phoenix Tower, wind calm, runway 25 left, the Hotel 7, clear for takeoff.
25 left at Hotel 7, clear for takeoff. Jet at 24-7.
Station 1 Romeo Foxtrot, contact departure on 126.8, good day.
26-8, 871 Romeo Foxtrot.
Okay, jet at 247 is cleared for the Keynes 2 departure. Departure route is shown on the screen, so it's out to the west. They're taking off to the west, and the departure, RNAV departure, is to the west.
Jet at 247, contact departure, good day.
You should be turning left after takeoff.
Have a good.
Right.
Gas 3277, Phoenix Tower, runway 25 right, line up and wait.
Line up and wait, runway 25 right, go 3277.
We're being very helpful here.
Jet at 247, Phoenix departure.
What are you doing?
Jet at 247, Tower.
Jet at 24-7, go ahead.
At 24-7, you're supposed to be on departure 126.8, and you're literally going the wrong way.
All right, 26-8, jet at 24-7.
All right.
He's now.
Gas 3277, wind calm, runway 25 right, clear for takeoff.
Where's he going?
Okay, so I paused this thing. So, as Nick said, the initial departure routing is basically literally straight ahead, right off the runway, and then at a certain point it makes a jink to the left to the southwest. I mean, that's what they were supposed to be doing, but he has taken off and turned to the right. He's like heading north, and now at this point, I think he's like pointed to the east.
Yeah, he's done a right-hand 180, and he's
right.
Yeah, it looks like he's heading
the
in
opposite direction.
060 maybe or something.
Yeah, and the departure, as we keep saying, is out west initially and then southwest. And I thought it was funny that the controller said, "You're literally going the wrong way." And he goes, "All right, 26-8, good day."
Yes.
Did that not make any impression on you?
Apparently not.
Yeah, I was a little surprised the controller did not try to fix, didn't give him a heading. Say like your heading is supposed to be, or you're supposed to be going this way. He just said you're flying the wrong direction.
Yeah, you're literally flying the wrong way. Okay, so problem is they're flying a Honda jet.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, that's the problem? A Honda? Oh, come on, Logan. I don't care. I fly I drive a Honda. Anyway, let's continue.
Do you drive it the wrong way?
Sometimes, yeah.
Well,
all right.
Must have a lot of sympathy with these guys.
Yeah. Okay. So anyway, so it sounds like a very young voice flying this very small private jet. Jet It is the airline, and he's very laid back and doesn't seem to be really bothered at all that he is not doing really anything that he is supposed to be doing. But he sounds cool on the radio, All right. And I love the way instead of flight 247, it's 24/7. Get it? 24/7. Okay, very good. Let's continue.
Takeoff number 25 right, sky 3277.
Another airplane.
And we're on the Keynes 2.
Jet at 247, Phoenix departure, radar contact, expedite the right turn, clear direct Keynes, maintain 8,000.
All right, jet Keynes 8,000, jet at 24/7.
All right.
Southwest 4254, visual 25 left.
4254, Phoenix Tower, wind calm, runway 25 left, clear to land.
25 left, clear to land, Southwest 4254.
Jet at 247, amend altitude, maintain 7,000 for traffic.
7.
Southwest 4354, contact Albuquerque Center 126.45.
2645, Southwest 4354.
He doesn't seem to be expediting anything. He's taking his time.
Yeah, and he is literally now flying over the top of all the arrivals. They're doing parallel approaches from the east to west, and he's over the top of that. And now there's an American flight on a left downwind, in front of him at 8,000. So that's why they had to tell him to stop at 7,000.
Yeah, I was a little surprised they didn't turn him out to the left, because like you said, he was essentially on a right downwind for the runway he took off from when they when they corrected him, and now they're flying him over the airport, like you said, over the arrival into the airport.
And you can hear in the air traffic control half of the communications, you can hear stuff going on in the background where people are yelling and talking about traffic and everything else. This is causing, they probably just can't believe that this guy is doing this, right?
Yeah.
They didn't know what to tell him.
They're in the area where AG and RH always say, don't be there.
Yeah, exactly.
That's not where you want to be.
This is not where you want to be. Okay, let's continue.
Jet at 247, turn right heading 290, 290 on the heading, please.
290 on the heading, jet at 24-7.
November 1 Romeo Foxtrot, contact Albuquerque Center, 127.67.
1 Romeo Foxtrot.
They're such nice people.
Today's go 3277, passing 2,400, climbing via the Level 1.
SkyWest 3277, Phoenix departure, radar contact. Jet at 247, when able, clear direct Keens, climb and maintain flight level 210.
Alright, flight level 210, direct Keens, jet at 24-7.
Aye.
And jet at 247, I have some information for you to copy. Advise when ready.
Ready, jet at 24-7.
Jet at 247, possible pilot deviation. Advise you contact Phoenix approach at 602-306.
You suck.
So 602-306.
You suck.
Thank you, 602-306.
Thank you.
Yeah, everyone's so polite.
Jet at 247, contact Albuquerque Center, 126.45. Good day.
2645, jet at 24-7. Have a good.
Have a good. Yeah.
Imagine this happening at JFK. They'd have a screaming match.
Oh yeah, this would been a completely different exchange.
Yeah, sure.
What the are you doing? Yeah, as Logan Lynch says in our live audience, I love how calm he is. Nothing happening here at all. Do you almost get the impression that he doesn't have any idea that he is doing all this stuff completely wrong?
Well, there's no hint of an apology or an explanation from him, which most of us would be going, damn, sorry, I turned the wrong way. What do you want me to do now?
It's just
I agree. That surprised me as well that he didn't say, sorry about that.
Oh, yeah, my bad.
Even if he totally screwed it up, I would have thought he would have gone on there and say, oh, sorry, we programmed the FMS wrong or something like that. Make an excuse. Let him know that there's a little bit of regret about what happened there.
Nothing. None of it. Well, you could have said 5G. I think it's messing up everything. Oh, 5G. It's got to be it. Oh man. Let's see. Sam says my only guess is a total misprogramming of the Garmin nav system. Yeah, but I mean, it's a map, right? You have a display of a map, and you see your departure routing depicted on it. I don't know.
Yeah, but if they plugged in the wrong departure.
Oh, yeah.
If somebody's not paying it,
Gotcha.
I don't know. I don't deal with that level of automation, but I could see, some of those, like the Garmin system I just put on my airplane, I can type everything in on my iPad and beam it to the navigator.
Yeah.
And if you've got some guy, if you've got a real green co-pilot and then a captain flying the airplane and the captain, maybe expects the co-pilot to take care of that stuff. Maybe he doesn't even cross-check that the right departure or right routing got put in. And he's flying the right route on the computer. The computer's just wrong.
And, I think that airplane can be certified for one pilot operation. I'm wondering if it's just a single solo pilot in there.
Yeah, could be.
Oh, wow. Yeah, could be.
It was the Lisdexic departure. Yeah, I think that's it. Lisdexia is definitely something that is prominent in
to watch out
aviation world. Yeah. Yeah. So I'd love to hear that phone call for sure. Yeah. Oh, Jetit is a Canadian airline. No wonder they're so nice. That's the problem.
Yeah.
We wouldn't even have covered it had we known that. Sorry. Yeah. Anyway, so I just thought I saw that on Bass Aviation and I thought, oh my gosh, that's I can't believe that happened, and I can't believe the tone tenor of the pilot's voice was just so like, yeah, whatever, yeah, no big deal. Oh,
Yeah.
have a good day. All right.
Probably
Good day.
the pitfalls of electronic navigation.
Yeah,
Although
that is-
we used to do it in paper navigation as well, if you put the map upside down.
Yeah. Oh man.
And don't pay
All right.
attention to all those letters, those upside down letters.
That's right.
It does, Jeff. It does look like it's single pilot certified.
Okay.
I don't know if
I don't know if they
Part
operate
135
like that or not.
operation would
Yeah.
allow that, but for at least for Part 91 flying, it looks like it's a thing that exists.
Yeah. So, wow. 2 pilots. Honda is a single pilot certificate, can be pilot owner, but then the other pilot's corporate. So they fly with 2 pilots, according to Sam Wiltz.
Yep.
Okay. Thank you. Let's move on to the next item. This is from CNBC.com. Thiel Capital, Mesa Air invest in electric sea glider startup Regent. And Regent is developing a flying electric sea glider with a top speed of 180 miles per hour. Now, when you think of sea glider, I think what they are saying here is it's basically just an airplane that flies at a very low altitude. And didn't you have at least one, maybe more, plane tales about the kind of airplanes that fly in that ground effect or
absolutely. Ekranoplans.
Yeah,
they're cool.
Sea
Yeah,
monsters.
we did. We told it all. I did one all about the Caspian Sea Monster and the Russian military ground effect vehicles, and of course, leading on to the ones that are people are still toying with. It's a very attractive idea. You get an enormous increase in or decrease in fuel consumption, increase in range for the same fuel if you employ ground effect, which is basically flying so low that the pressure difference your wings create make you kind of hover on a cushion of air, a bit like a hovercraft without any skirt around it. That's what she said. And you literally you sit on the own pressure wave that your aircraft is creating, and it scoots along. And this combines it with a hydrofoil, which sounds quite clever. The big problem with these, of course, is if the sea isn't calm, very hard to fly in a heavy sea. And of course, if you've got to maneuver, any bank you put down, you're so close to the water to be in ground effect that any bank is a very easy way to dip a wingtip in, and that's you gone. Because literally you're 10, 20 feet in the air, that's all.
Yeah, that's it. I could kind of understand it. I don't know. It seems like a better, it might work out better for like a touring thing where you're kind of moving around a little bit slower. But when you think about flying 10 feet off the ground at 180 miles an hour, like they're talking about here, the geometry just turns into any little burble or anything, and you're in the water in just a split second.
Yeah.
So
I mean, it's quite hard to push through ground effect into the water. For those of us who floated down a runway in ground effect can attest to, because every aircraft suffers. Well, it doesn't suffer, it's not really a problem, but every aircraft has a ground effect. And in the landing phase, if you allow the airplane to sit in ground effect, you can scoot on down the runway for a very long way before you eventually fall out of the sky.
I thought this was interesting because Regent's electric sea gliders are technically categorized as wing in ground effect craft, or WIGs. They're regulated by the U.S. Coast Guard rather than the Federal Aviation Administration. That may also help Mesa Airlines cope with a pilot shortage. There is a very significant pilot shortage today after government regulations put in place a few years back are coming home to roost. The 1,500-hour requirement has crippled the industry. Laws in the U.S. require airline pilots to have 1,500 hours of flight time to work at a commercial airline, but there are exceptions for some students, military, and WIGs have a different set of requirements. What do they call it? Wing in ground effect craft. So that's it's a pretty airplane that we're showing the artists rendering on the on the screen right now if you're watching the video.
And Thiel Capital, that's Peter Thiel. He was he was involved in Facebook. I think he was one of the first guys in Facebook, and then I think he did PayPal. I think he did PayPal, maybe.
Okay,
but anyway, he's
he's
a well-known venture capitalist that's been involved in some successful ones. You know, hard to tell how often he's been involved in unsuccessful ones, but he has been involved in a couple of pretty successful ventures.
This is interesting. Kind of it's not really an airplane. It's
well, it certainly can fly, even if it just scoots along the surface like a boat. You can pull it away from the surface, and ground effect aircraft vehicles, they can fly. In fact, one of the Russian ones could cruise along at 10,000 feet. So I'm not quite sure how you can have a boat that can fly that high and not be subject
that would be my question too, is how they set that threshold.
Right.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, good point. And heaven forbid you meet a big wave.
Yeah, it's going to have to require relatively calm seas, I would imagine.
Yeah. And also limits you really to routes over the water. So if there's a bit of land between you and the water, are you allowed to fly over it if you don't hold a pilot's license? Or do you have to go round all the bits of land that stick out into the ocean if you're going from A to B?
Well, the article says that the Regent Sea Gliders should also be able to fly to islands, coastal hubs where airports are inadequate or non-existent, or when infrastructure has taken a hit due to a natural disaster, because they can fly low under a fog line. Unlike helicopters, the company is developing prototypes with an interior fit for emergency medical transportation with capacity to hold equipment, patients on stretchers safely in place. Interesting idea. I don't know.
What's a fog line, and how do you fly under fog?
Because I thought fog was a cloud that's on the ground.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
And
So
if
I
you're
don't know what
doing
a fog line is.
and fog like is from memory, it's visibility less than 100 meters, something like that. I'm trying to remember now. Someone will correct me in the chat room. I'm think of what the definition of fog is. But if you're doing 180 miles an hour in fog,
no, thank you.
Yeah, you're going to need some kind of system to stop you bumping into things, aren't you?
I would think. Yeah. Well, we'll see what happens with this. Interesting. Maybe it'll be another great source of covering accidents and incidents.
Oh, look, Luke, completely changing the subject. Lucas Diamond has come up with my favorite German phrase.
Oh. And
my hovercraft is full of eels.
Okay.
Mein Luftkissenfahrzeug ist voll von all or allen.
Interesting. All right. Well, thank you for that contribution, Lucas. Let's continue with this. Oh, it's an update on that Airlink Jetstream 41 at Venetia Mine on the 3rd of January. I believe we covered this one when Nick C. and I were together in Wichita a few weeks back. They were performing a charter flight from Johannesburg to Venetia Mine. On approach to Venetia Mine, when a bird impacted the right-hand propeller, causing one of the blades to separate and penetrate the cabin. Well, the update... Oh, a bird, yes. Oh, look, we have a picture of the bird, and it's a Corée mustard. No, it's a Corée bustard, which is a very large bird. In fact, I think it's like one of the largest birds out there. Yeah, it's in Africa. Anyway, a very large bird. Can be like, 40 pounds? That's pretty big. Anyway, so this is the big update. The South Africa Civil Aviation Authority released their preliminary report. They talked about the bird and the fact that Pardon? The bird and the propeller and the blade fragment penetrated the fuselage in the third passenger seat row. And but this is the part that I think is just kind of key to the whole preliminary investigation. The SACAA stated, quote, The accident was considered survivable as no person was seated at seat row number 3 during the accident.
Excuse me?
The cabin crew member reported that the passenger who was seated in row 3 for weight and balance purposes vacated the seat during flight to occupy one of the empty seats at the back of the aircraft. And they're probably very glad they did. Otherwise, this would not have been a survivable accident. I just
How
thought
can
it
you
was
classify a passenger as survivable? Sorry, an accident as survivable just because someone had moved out of their seat.
I don't know.
That doesn't make sense to me.
Question that you have.
Okay.
Yeah, it's hard-hitting analysis, Liz says. Yes, hard-hitting, for sure.
It makes you wonder, all the people that fly single-seat airplanes and have to jump out of them. Is that considered survivable when the airplane hits the ground and is completely destroyed? Well, it was a survivable accident because
the person survived.
The airplane was not occupied at the time.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Unbelievable.
Okay, well, I can't wait to see the final report on that one. Yeah, we do look forward to more astute analysis on this particular accident. Let's move on to the last in our news segment. Qatar Airways served a subpoena on Google to reveal the identities of employees who anonymously criticized the airline online. And this is from crewroom.ca. And Qatar Airways is said to have served a subpoena in an attempt to obtain information that might identify the identities of anonymous web accounts critical of the Doha-based airline. Let's see. Last June, Qatar filed a lawsuit against 2 anonymous accounts on the Professional Pilots Rumor Network. We talk about that quite often here on our show. P-Prune, I think most people call it, the Professional Pilots Rumor Network, for posting exclusive information. According to the lawsuit, the 2 anonymous accounts exposed secret information about the airline, including its recruitment and rejoining activities. Let's see. Non-governmental organizations have long studied and criticized Qatar Airways' human resources and disciplinary procedures. Qatar's hiring and firing policies differ significantly from those in place in the majority of the airline's pilot workforce's home nations. The case, which was filed in a Los Angeles court, stated that Qatar thought that the anonymous posts were posted by current workers and that it was working to identify them. According to Qatar, the pilots, quote, owed a responsibility of care, skill, diligence, and commitment to Qatar Airways. Oh, yes, Liz is making a good point. I'm sure that Qatar wanted to identify them so that they could reward them for their honesty and transparency regarding the hiring and firing policies at the airline. Anyway, interesting. That's kind of scary when you think that big companies were subpoenaing. I'm sorry, it's so cold in here. My hands are freezing and my mouth is like
not working.
It's dropping now to 58 degrees inside. Yeah, my furnace does work, Liz, but I wanted to turn it off because I didn't want the noise. But you know
you
what?
need to close that fridge door, Jeff.
Oh, yeah. Well, it feels like a fridge in here, actually. Yeah. What do you guys think about this?
Well, P-Prune has always been a sort of safe haven for people to say what they really think. I know Danny, who started the website. I think he may no longer be running it, may have moved on to somewhere. But, people have in the past been able to say very freely what they think about things because you're allowed to post anonymously. You are the only person who knew your real identity, what airline you work for, etc., was the guy that ran it. And of course, that was kept confidential. And the fact that an airline can now get hold of that information or is trying to get hold of that information would be very damaging both to P-Prune and the individuals involved. So not good from my point of view because it takes away one of the few avenues for professional pilots to share information amongst themselves that we would normally You'd be able to talk about freely if we were in a pub, but you can't necessarily do online now. That is a worry.
Yeah, and I think one of the unintended consequences of modern technology, at least that we're seeing over here in America, is there's a lot of aspects of the technology that we use that we don't quite understand, and how things are stored on the cloud and stuff. And there's been a number of cases with companies like Facebook and Google and Apple and Apple's Apple Cloud over here, where the government has either tried to obtain that information for ongoing investigations or civil investigations like this that they have used. And a lot of times there are, the user of the technology doesn't even know that these type of like backups and information is still obtainable. And so, some of those companies, Apple's really well known for trying to protect that information for its customers, but it's still a little, it's just not well enough known by so many of the users that the government can basically get all that information about things like this, who's writing posts on the internet, stuff that you delete from your email. You delete an email, but it still exists on a server at Google or something, and the government can go get it. So it's a new era of privacy issues.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, a government getting hold of it is one thing, but your employer, who happens to be an airline, getting hold of it is something completely different.
Absolutely, I agree. And living in the world capital of frivolous lawsuits over here in the U.S., it is really concerning.
Yeah, absolutely.
What'd you say, Liz? Cowboys suing each other with frivolous lawsuits. Yeah, yeah.
I'm sorry, we can't have that as a show title.
No, it's too long of a title for sure.
That's right.
But
I could do cowboys in a courtroom, but
I haul boxes. How about Qatar just abandons the practices they don't want advertised? The world becomes a lot simpler.
That's a good idea.
Wow. What kind of a crazy world are you living in, I haul boxes?
Yeah, that's
Come
right.
on. Yeah. Yeah, so I guess, basically, I've always considered that anything I put out there, whether I think it's private or not, it's possible that everybody can see it. So, all those communications that you have with people, talking about other people, just be careful, because there's a chance that somehow someone will discover it at some point in the future.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's true.
And by the way, if you do all discover some of the terrible things I've said about you, I'm sorry. I probably had too much to drink or something, Yeah.
Yep. I can't imagine that.
Apology. Yeah. Right. Okay. Anything else to say before we move on? All right, let's get to know us. Oh, that's right. Steph's not here. About us, getting to like us, getting to hope you like us too. She loves that. All right. Getting to know us. It's that segment of the show where we kind of get all caught up, and I'm just dying to hear what Nick has to say about his recent, that was a poor choice of words. I'm sorry. Yes, you were not with us for a couple of weeks, Captain
I'm
Nick.
frequently not with you, even when I'm with you.
Well, that's true, but you weren't on the show, shall we say, with us, and we really missed you. A lot of the listeners wrote in to tell us that they really were, thinking and praying for you, and hope that you got well soon and were back on the show soon, because they couldn't stand it without you. So what the heck? Now, many people that follow the show closely know, from what we had talked about in your absence and such, that you had a little health incident.
Yeah, absolutely. It's something that I've been sort of wary of since probably about 9 months after I joined Virgin Atlantic as a young first officer. when I went down with a case of atrial fibrillation. So that's the top half of the heart is the atrium, and the chambers there that sort of prime the main heart areas, the ventricles, which do the pumping. So it's just like a small pump feeding into a big pump. Anyway, the top half of the heart controls your heart rhythm, apparently. And when they go into fibrillation, they're sort of wobbling around like a piece of jelly. They're no longer coordinated, and the pumping signal they send down to the ventricles becomes confused. Previously, I had it for a couple of days. I was in hospital, and I came back into normal rhythm. 6 months and lots of tests later. They think they know the reason for it was drinking a large, very cold drink. The esophagus, your cold drink goes down, lies right behind the heart where the vagus nerve is, and that can trigger AF. Anyway, 6 months later, I was back in the cockpit, and 5 years later, after lots of annual hoops to jump through, I actually got a full medical back again. So that was great. And I didn't really think too much about it, but the old heart specialist at the CAA, very nice chap called Air Vice Marshal Cook, he had an E, Cook with an E, so everyone called him Cookie. He said there are a few things you need to watch out for. Number one, you're prone to this because you've had one, you're more prone to have another one. Cold drinks, lots of exercise after a long flight. If you get a bad viral infection, he listed a number of things to be careful of. Binging on alcohol, or calls it, for example. So I'm not amazed I haven't had dozens, but anyway,
So you're not going to drink beer anymore?
Well, actually, I haven't drunk since the event, but
oh, really? Wow.
Yeah, that's only me going, I probably need to give my liver a rest. A lot of the things that I've been taking, drugs and the like, rely on efficient liver and kidney action. So I thought, well, best not to give my liver too much of a pounding at the moment, but I'm certainly not laying off completely. So I had made myself a lovely, spicy, fishy, lots of anchovies pizza, scoffed that, and went to bed and had a lot of heartburn and was waking up coughing very hard, and actually coughing against a closed epiglottis apparently is a way to bring yourself out of AF if you get into it. It sometimes works. Apparently paramedics sometimes try that trick. Anyway, I woke up in the middle of the night, like 1 o'clock a.m., and I thought, I don't feel very well. So I immediately put on my gift from Captain Jeff there, my Apple Watch. Now, I'm not a great advertiser, but in this case, I'm going to say, if you think you might ever get AF, buy an Apple Watch. They're very clever. So I put it on, and I did a heart check, and this is what I saw. This is the trace I got, and it said heart rate. Oh, that's not even the bad one. That's the one. No, I was right. That was the first one. Heart rate over 150. Yeah, 222 beats a minute. I was going. It was going so fast that I couldn't actually feel my pulse anymore. You put your fingers. And the watch said, well, I can't actually check for atrial fibrillation because your heart's going so fast. So I tested it a couple of times and thought, well, that's not brilliant. So I dialed 999 and spoke to the wonderful people in our National Health Service. They said, right, well, we'll send an ambulance. Then I went and woke up the wife. So I was still alive. I was walking around feeling fine-ish. Just felt like pretty weird. Anyway.
You are weird.
Yeah, I am. Exactly right. The lovely ambulance people came and tied me to an ECG and said, yeah, you're not, your heart's doing something really weird. So we'll take you to hospital. I did occasionally check my watch on the way down to hospital. They arrived to me in 7 minutes, which is not bad for a rural indication. And now my heartbeat was down to 148, and it said urinary atrial fibrillation. So that is kind of what I guessed, which was there. Anyway, arrived at heart hospital, and they started giving me clever drugs to slow the heart rate down. And it took about a week, got down to a normal heart rate, and I was still in AF, which, you can be. And I just had to wait. They put me on some drugs to sort the heart rhythm out. And they're saying, well, these don't seem to be working. So if we have to, we'll get you in and do a cardioversion, which is, stop your heart. And then they look at your bank balance. And if you can afford it, they restart your heart. There you go.
Very clever.
And they didn't have to, because after about a week, the heart flipped back into normal rhythm last time.
That's good.
Yeah, so all that tick VG. So I sat there wired up, feeling pretty bored there for about a week. And I arrived with so few clothes that I was in that dressing gown for a very long time. Anyway, push comes to shove. I'm back home, thank you. Feeling fine, in normal rhythm. Still on a bunch of drugs, which they will wean me off as time goes by. And still with a few extra tests to be done. They didn't want to keep me in hospital any longer than necessary because they gave me COVID, which meant I had to be, that was very kind of them. I had to be given a private room, or an isolation room, so that I would give it to anyone else. And that causes all sorts of hassle, because every time you go into a big piece of test equipment like a CT scan, they've got to do a deep clean afterwards. So they said, look, go home and recover, and we'll have you back in as an outpatient for these tests. So I'm still waiting for those. And
so you went through the hassle of getting COVID just so you could have a private room? Is that what I'm
absolutely
getting from this?
Took some doing. I had to lick a lot of floors to catch COVID.
Are you finished with that bedpan?
Absolutely. I'll have some of that. Anyway, it's been really touching to get so many good messages of people hoping that I recover. Occasionally people saying, "Die, you old man," but luckily not many of those.
Liz. Get rid of those. Those are from me.
Okay, all right, misaddressed. I got a lovely
from me to you.
Oh, they were from you.
Yes.
Oh, that explains a lot now. Now I understand. I got a lovely hamper from the APG crew, which was great, absolutely lovely. Enjoyed the contents thereof, and lots of gifts. So I'm mentioning the one here from Rob Simmons because who sent me some beers, and also a jigsaw, which you can see I've started. Whoa. There's the first piece.
You're coming along quite nicely with that one.
It is, isn't it? I'm doing really well. I found that bit. It says RAF on it, but
okay.
So it's going to be weird because the picture's upside down. I don't understand. Oh. Anyway, thanks very much for the for the 1,000-piece jigsaw, Rob. Appreciate that. So that's been kind of me, and there's no need for any worries. AF isn't something that will kill you, and the worst you'll get is a blood clot, and if they get you on blood thinners, and like I am now, you're going to be fine, and then they'll have time to sort you out. It's not like having a heart attack where you might be gone. That's me, and I'll be here to darken your doors for many years to come, I am sure. The only other thing I'm going to thank you. The only other thing I'm going to mention is a particular thanks. Oh, well, I won't name everyone individually who's written to me, but you know who you are, and I just want to say how much I appreciated it. Today's plane tale. An interesting one, actually, and it was suggested by a fine gentleman called Jim Patterson, who was on Slack. Now, I've written to Jim to say thank you, but he doesn't seem to be on Slack very much. So both Liz and I have tried to contact him and thank him, but I thought I'd mention it on the show because it's an aspect of aviation I hadn't thought about doing until you suggested it, Jim. So thanks very much. And I'm intrigued. Jim probably comes from the west coast of Canada or North America, somewhere there. His icon is a TARDIS, a Doctor Who blue police box. Yes. So I'm intrigued to know, are you a fan of Doctor Who or do you just like police boxes? I'm curious. Anyway, that's it from me. I'm sure you've had enough.
No. We're so happy that you're healthy again and you're back with us. And I look forward to seeing you in 2 weeks?
Less than 2 weeks.
Less than 2 weeks.
12 days?
Something like that. Yeah. Friday morning, 2 weeks from yesterday, I guess.
Yeah. I'll be there.
The Plane Talking UK is Plane Talking UK are having their 400th episode celebration in the London area, and I'm going to be flying in, and Nick, is going, if he's still with us, is going to pick me up.
I've got my wings.
Yeah, don't
start using
Julie
them
will
yet.
Be there. Yeah.
Okay, that's true.
But anyway,
she'll be driving around in my car.
I will be staying at Casa Anderson for Friday night, I guess, and then we'll head down to the Brooklands Museum area and hotel on Saturday, and we're really looking forward to that. Or I am looking forward to that, at least.
Oh, likewise.
And
be great to see you.
Great to see you as well, I'm sure. Let's see here. Let me look at my notes to see what I was supposed to talk about in this segment. Oh, well, I think Nick C. alluded to it last week. I was on a trip, and I was in Wichita, Kansas, and I got to meet up with Nick Camacho, and he picked me up as well as my first officer, Brent, and took us to Delano Barbecue, as he has done in the past, and we had a great barbecue meal at Delano Barbecue in Wichita. So thank you, Nick, for picking me up and joining us. That was a lot of fun. And let's see. Oh, I talked about, I think on the last episode, Dan White, a fellow Acme, he's a 220 captain, and he sent me some stuff. I think Cockpit Creations is his company in North Texas, Dallas, Texas area. And I said I would show you some of these stickers that he sent me. So let's see if I can, sorry, didn't mean to rub the microphone, but anyway, they're kind of
those are awesome.
stylized stickers. And I think, let's see, he's got one in here of one of my favorite airplanes. This one here. I think you'll recognize this. It's a little stubby version of a three-holer, a 727.
Absolutely. They all look a bit like 747 SPs.
Yeah,
short and dumpy.
They're a little cartoonish.
Look.
That's my C-141 Starlifter.
Yeah.
And let's see, what else do we... Oh, here, that was the gray version. This is the kind of the original paint job they had on the
smart.
Starlifter, not Lister.
Starlister. I prefer the Lister, yes. Which side did it list?
This is kind of one. This is kind of a picture of me flying by with my arm hanging out the window. That's kind of nice.
With your knuckles scraping along the ground.
Exactly. Oh, look, and this, of course, is appropriate for these COVID times. We have one that's wearing a mask.
Oh, very good.
It's hard to tell, but here, let me see if I can get that a little bit closer. There we go. There's the mask.
Now, is that a 717 or a Mad Dog? Or could it be both?
I don't know. It's just kind of a generic T-tailed airplane, I think. Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, so thank you. Thank you very much, Dan. These are awesome. And so, hey, if you want to check out all of his cockpit creations. There's the business card right there. And I'll try to remember to put that link in the show notes. Oh, here, let me turn this around. This is the backside of the
great selections back there.
Oh, yeah. Look at that.
Yeah, how about that? That kind of looks a lot like the airplane you fly, right?
Yep.
Nick? All right.
Yep.
My physical. Well, I'll mention that in a moment. Let's see. The other thing. Oh, and then I think I know who sent this to me, because somebody that we all know and love, and someone with whom I spent, I don't know, just almost 2 weeks, maybe just under 2 weeks with a couple of years ago, driving out to the West Coast in a Prius. He asked me for my address, and so I'm thinking it was Stephen Ivy that sent these, but I could be wrong. Somebody sent these stickers.
Well,
Chemtrail team. They probably sent them anonymously, because this whole chemtrail operation that we're involved in, pilots in ATC United, disperse and control. Chemtrail team. This whole thing is, on the down low, so we really shouldn't be talking about it at all while we're doing the show. In fact, if I'm not here next week, it's probably because the certain people probably found me and just did away with me. So thanks a lot, Stephen.
Yes. We'll just put a couple of those chemtrail badges on your eyes and wrap you in a shroud.
Yes. Anyway. And if it wasn't Stephen Ivy, then whoever sent those to me, thank you. And by the way, my address situation right now, if anybody wants to send something, please contact me first, because I don't even know what a good address is anymore, because this cabin really doesn't have, you can't send anything to the cabin because there is no mailbox at the cabin. So I have a P.O. box up here in the mountains, and my Roswell P.O. box now is history. Yeah. Oh, Liz is making a good point. If it's anything valuable, she said she'll give you her address. And they can
good
send
idea.
It to her.
Yeah.
Anyway.
And if it's anything drinkable, I'll give you my address.
Then, yes. Okay. Yeah. We've got it all worked out, haven't we? Let's see. I had my twice yearly FAA physical, class 1, the one with the EKG or ECG, if you prefer, yesterday. And so I'm good for another 6 months until August, when I'll have to do another physical. But I'm good for at least another 6 months. And my
congratulations
heart was ticking the way that it's supposed to. The only anomaly, I guess, was something about a left tilted ventricle, something or other. I don't know. He said that's not an uncommon thing to see with a gentleman of my age and size and that kind of thing. So,
if you're not a gentleman, do you still get it?
I'm not sure. Yeah. Well, maybe I'm not a gentleman. I don't know. But
if you're a bounder.
Yeah. So that went well, and that's what I did for most of the day yesterday. I spent a lot of wonderful time in traffic, in Atlanta traffic, going from the cabin up here, down there, and then getting the physical and then driving back. It was horrible, absolutely horrible traffic yesterday. Anywho, that's it for me. Nick Camacho, what's been up with you, man?
Been working both my day job and on my airplane, and spent a couple hours last night with my dad going over everything we have in the airplane, everything we've touched. I put the headliner in on Wednesday, which I had made a new headliner for the airplane. That was the last piece of the airplane to go back on. So Dad and I spent about 3 hours last night going over everything we had touched, verifying all the fasteners were tight, verifying everything was back on there. And I think we're ready to fly. So I've got a stack of paperwork for him to sign when I go out there this afternoon. And I've got a I got to do I got to verify the fuel calibration because I had some of the fuel system components off the airplane. So do a couple of things in front of the hangar, running the engine, and then go run it down the runway up to near takeoff speed, but not take off, and verify all that stuff. And if all that looks good, might be able to fly it this weekend.
Oh, nice.
Yep. The only
Brilliant.
downside is the
Good
weather.
job.
The weather has turned again, so we're back into our winter weather. So if it does take any work to modify the fuel calibration, I might have to put it off until the weather gets warmer because I don't want to be working out in front of the hangar. It's I think the highs today are in the high 30s, so don't particularly want to spend a bunch of time out there. But
No.
that's pretty exciting. That's been a project that's been underway for many months, a couple of years, and it'll be nice to have the use of that airplane again.
Remind us again, Nick, the type of airplane that we're talking about.
Oh yeah, it's a Beech Debonair, 1960 Beech Debonair, which is a early model straight tail Bonanza. The Bonanza line started with V-tails, and they made V-tails for 13 years. And I actually have the first year of the straight tail Bonanza, which they called a Debonair for a while before they renamed them all Bonanzas. But 4-seat
Cool.
retractable gear airplane. So
Very
I
nice.
use a sort of V1 for those high-speed runway runs. Well, I haul. It's a single-engine airplane, so we don't really have V1, V2. We have a rotate speed, so I'll probably run it up to, maybe 90% of the rotate speed, and then we've got a pretty long runway at my airport, so it should be a big deal. And the reason for that is because you can't really get full power. You can't really simulate the full power settings of the engine at static RPM speeds. So you got to get airflow running through the propeller to actually see that all of those pressure settings and everything are correct. So that's why we can't just do everything in front of the hangar. So probably don't need to get all the way up to rotate speed, which in my airplane is the low to mid 60s. But maybe run it down the runway at 50-ish knots.
Cool.
Yep. And then for my day job, I'm getting ready to do some traveling. I leave on Monday, and I go out to the home office for my company, which is out in California. And I'll spend a week out there getting some stuff ready for a flight test, and then head down to Phoenix, Rook's neck of the woods, for a few days and spend some time down there doing some work. And then at the end of it, 2 weekends from now, I guess, we have a family wedding in Houston. So I'll go from Phoenix to Houston and meet up with the rest of my family when my work stuff is done, and finally be home the following Sunday. So big round trip, lots of flying on small airlines for me coming up.
Very good. So I think, Liz, remind me, do I have another Wichita layover later this month? Okay, she's going to check for me. I'm thinking, wow, the things you do, Nick Camacho, to avoid
you, yeah.
me.
Catching the COVID and flying out to the West Coast on a CRJ. I know. It's rough.
Are you going to have a meetup? Are you going to have a meetup, Jeff, in Wichita with the lineman?
Yes, with the Wichita lineman.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. Whatever that means. Yeah, I know. Glenn Campbell, a Wichita lineman song. Yeah.
The only thing I know about Wichita.
Well, turns out that I'm not going to be in Wichita. So this whole thing was for naught, Nick. You didn't have to come up with this elaborate travel plan at all to avoid me. But apparently Liz is telling me that Steph needs to be alerted that I'm going to be in Charlotte. soon, and that she needs to come up with some kind of an excuse.
She's going to have to rustle up another conference real quick then.
Yeah, another conference.
It's going to be tight.
Yep.
Yes. Anyway, speaking of Steph, she is, I'm not sure if we mentioned it while we were recording the show or before we started recording, but yes, everybody get ready for the air quotes. She is on a conference somewhere out west, and I guess there's some snow and mountains involved with the conference, and yeah, things are really going downhill fast, or she is at least. So anyway, we miss her and look forward to having her back on whenever she returns. And also Miami Rick is doing his job as a freight captain, freight pilot out there flying today, so he couldn't join us. And so hopefully we'll have both of them on with us next time around. We'll see. All right, the cover art from last week's episode, and thank you, Nick, for doing that cover art.
No trouble,
even though you weren't on that show, we do appreciate the art, which, of course, the title of the show was COVID Cowboys. And there are a bunch of hazmat suited up pilots with cowboy hats. And wow, look at all those COVID things, molecules, or what are these things called again?
Viruses.
Yeah, behind this very large COVID cowboy Acme 747, looks like. Very
and
nice.
The background is actually Hong Kong. Not that you can really tell. It's the Hong Kong harbour from Kowloon side.
Okay.
And over the back of the second guy from the left, you can just see the pointy bit of one of those skyscrapers. That pointy bit is a kind of a clock. It lights with different colours in different segments to indicate the time. You need to understand the sequence to work out what time it is, but very prominent and good landmark.
Now, I didn't really search for the title, the episode number on this. Where did you hide it?
Oh, it's underneath the badges on those suits.
Oh, okay. And now somebody had asked me if those faces were our faces, or were these just...
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely our faces.
I guess are they?
No.
Okay, I didn't think so.
You'd have had a hard job working it out, even if I had gone to the trouble, but no.
Yeah. Anyway, a very, very nice artwork. Thank you for doing that.
Brilliant. Thanks.
Oh, okay. Laura has figured out that Rick is actually in training for the Extreme Ironing Championships. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. He's doing very well.
Yes. He has made it to the finals. Okay. It is now time for us to talk about the way that you can support us financially if you'd like to. And let's get the Coffee Fun Java Jive thing going here.
Johnny, how much more coffee?
No thanks.
Yes, please.
I love coffee. I love tea. I love the APG community. Coffee and tea and the Java and me. A cup, a cup, a cup, a cup, a cup.
I missed your singing, Liz. You didn't sing along with me. Oh, that's okay. All right, so we're going to talk about the Coffee Fund, a couple different ways that you can participate. One is the Coffee Fund Classic method, and since the last show, we have Alistair... No, shoot, I think that was the wrong one. That was from last week. I kind of screwed that up. Should be in the slides. Is that the slides that you're... Okay. All right, now she's with us. The Coffee Fund Classic since the last show, George Hollis and Mazuz Karim. So thank you, both of you, for participating and contributing to the show. And we also, hey, finally, after a little bit of a lag, we have some new patrons. They would be producer Tom Rakauskas? I'm not sure. Sorry, Tom. And two new executive producers, John Abrams and Elliot Cox, and ding, 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 David Lieb, He's a new assistant senior executive producer. That's the very, very high tier. Thank you.
And he's with us right now in the chat room.
Yes. David and John are with us. So thank you guys for becoming patrons via Patreon. We do appreciate it. And if you all want to join this wonderful group of people, please head over to airlinepilotguide.com/coffee for more information on it. And you'll be glad you did, and we will too. Again, thank you very much, guys, for becoming patrons. Okay. Oh, did we lose somebody? I would love to maybe take a quick physiological break, Liz. Thank you for asking. So I think Captain Nick has taken care of that. And so the Nicks will entertain you while I take a brief break.
Yeah, I might pop out here for a second, too.
I was going to say, you must have a very sizable bladder there, Nick. Right, we're back. What is there to talk about? Don't know. Someone give me an idea. Ask me a question.
Doing any photography lately, Nick? Or
oh, good. That's a good question. Yes, I have actually. Our lovely friend Adam Spink wanted some shots of his lovely fox red lab. Gorgeous young dog. Not really a pup anymore, but certainly not fully grown, which was great fun. And that's going to be a gorgeous dog once those two, Adam and Louise, have finished their training. Already is super, very well behaved dog. Anyway, that was fun. Messed about with the new camera, and I have also acquired a new flash unit. This is really nice, actually. It comes in a great case, and is Godox unit. It's actually got a circular flash, which is quite novel. Got modelling lights and everything. Lovely. It can do a high-speed flash sync up to a 8,000th of a second. So that means you can shoot the camera at an 8,000th, and it can flash enough times to fill the image with light. Normally the sync speed for a flash is about a 200th, which isn't much use for what I do, because when dogs are dashing around, you need to have a fast shutter speed. And if you try to use a flash unit with a too fast a shutter speed, if it does a single flash, you'll only illuminate part of the picture. And this flash, a lot of flashes do it, but this is pretty good for the price. It can flash enough times to fill the whole picture.
Well, I think that I've been watching your video during the show, and I think that your flash unit has been going off repeatedly.
It's this sunny. It's overheating. I thought I cured the problem by turning off the rear screen and lifting it so that the back of the camera gets airflow around it. But for this time, it's decided that it wants to overheat again. So, and I had that error message come up a couple of times. So I'm going,
Is that's the camera you always use?
Yeah.
Huh. Interesting. Because we haven't really had that overheating issue then, I guess, for a while.
Not for a while, no. It's been absolutely fine. Just been sitting there. But today it's misbehaving.
Okay. Liz is telling me it's now Did you, by the way, hear Hillel while Nick was talking about his flash unit?
Been flashing again.
Hang on.
Was he in the bathroom with you?
Delta P.
Yeah, it's we have a couple of urinals in there. Or urinals. Your choice. All right. Let's see. let's do this.
Captain, incoming message.
All right. Our first piece of feedback for today's show. This was sent in by Sean. Airline flight planning, 1960s style. And he just gave us a link to a vintage American Airlines film, Flight Planning Processes, 1961 through 1963, LAX and JFK International Airport. And he said, here's how flight planning worked at the airlines in the 60s. It looks just slightly different today. Missing, dealing with manual publication updates. Okay, so let's take a quick look. We're not going to show the entire video, of course, but we'll play a little bit of it. And I just love these old vintage films. So here we go. This is from some historical film was made between 61 and 63. International documentary shows how American Airlines pilots and support personnel planned a passenger flight from Idlewild. This was before. Yeah, nice picture of that.
I love the way they built the control tower on a block of flats.
All right, here's your typical Joe pilot getting out of his car.
What's that wacky aerial he had on the top of his car?
Going someplace?
Nope.
Planning to fly?
Nope.
Yeah.
I love his hat.
Those American
Great
Airlines.
hat.
Yeah, no noise abatement.
This picture will show you Americans planning.
Okay.
Every American flight gets the same planning by the kind of men and women you're about to see. There are no actors in this picture. Everyone is an American Airlines employee working at his regular job.
Roger, seat number 4, please.
Flight 3707 Astrojet, non-stop to Los Angeles.
An announcer with a little whistle. Oh, I love this bit. 80 knots!
Is Flight 3.
100's good.
This is
100!
the payoff. This is the takeoff.
Rotate.
Don't you guys mess with me!
You're blowing me up. Wait a minute. Let's stop. This guy's like, and you should see his hand going like he's doing these gestures with his hand. Is like, whoa, watch out for this guy. Let's back it up a little bit and start with this takeoff roll and listen. Now, Nick.
Yeah, sorry, I was getting all excited.
Add to it. Okay, wait. Let's hear this guy. Okay, here we go.
80 knots. 80 knots.
This is
80
Flight
knots.
3.
100's good.
This is the payoff.
V1.
This is the takeoff.
Rotate. On the rig, gear up. 20 flaps.
This guy's really fun to fly with, apparently.
Absolutely. 80 knots!
Shut up! No one talks in here but me. Anyway, you need to check out this video. Yeah, it's yeah, I love it. Good old days. This was even before my time, by the way. Should you wonder? I think I was only 61. I was like 2, 3, 4 years old, something like that. Cockpit Horror Picture show. Thank you, Craig. Yeah. Anyway, so thank you. Who sent this to me? I have to look back at. Pardon? Sean, thank you for sending that in. We do appreciate that. Here, let me remove this.
I watched quite a long way through it because, like you, Jeff, I thought it was a fantastic bit of history. And all the guys on the telephone, a little while further on, all these dispatches, they all sound like NASA people. They all sound like they're about to launch the next space rocket into outer space. It's brilliant.
Oh, look at that. Look at this person in our chat room, our live audience that we have not seen for quite some time. And he is our air traffic controller, no longer trainee. I think he's all checked out, right, Mohammed?
Absolutely, yes. Hi, Mohammed.
You know what we should do? We should, and wow, talking about a coinkydink, we have received some feedback. Did you want to say anything else about the old airline vintage 60s style?
No, watch it. It's great fun.
Yeah, watch it for sure. We'll have a link to that in the
I
show
just
notes.
love those.
The round thing the guy is twiddling with in the middle of the movie. It's part of a telephone, by the way. Just thought I'd tell you that.
That's why they call it dialing. You know,
Yeah,
kids these
yeah,
days,
yeah.
they're going, you know, you ask them, well, why do you say dialing a number? I don't know. Well, you'll know why if you watch this video. Anyway, let's move to Mohammed. He said, it's an update on his progress. Dear APG, long time not to be in touch with you. I do apologize. I've been through a lot of personal life issues that changed my priorities. This is life. There's nothing stable, but I'm okay. Nothing to be concerned. Well, we hope you're okay, Mohammed. All prayers, love, and support to Captain Nick. Get well soon, Captain. Well, look at
Many
that.
thanks, Mohammed. And I'm doing fine, thank you.
Yes. And first of all, I have to say, thanks to Liz that connected me to Samantha. I took English lessons with her based on when I made English language tests to update my certification. I got the highest score between my colleagues. Based on that, they told me you need 6 years to test again. That's great. I think that's probably the best you can do on those English tests.
Congratulations.
Right? Yeah, good job. And thank you, Liz, for getting Mohammed in touch with Samantha. He said, also, I made a childhood dream come true. I visited part of Europe, Germany and Finland, and it was a great experience. When I feel bad, I just remembered the good times I spent there. Unfortunately, getting visas to Western countries is not easy. I think you already know why. But I made it. It was a great achievement in my personal life. Unfortunately, we lost another colleague controller by a car accident. She's a lady, and the tragic thing is she left 2 cute kids. Her husband, which he is also a controller with us, hit Mohammed's trainer. So now, till now, he can't believe that. May God have mercy on her soul. We already lost 6 controllers in different times due to COVID-19 or other reasons. Wow.
Wow.
Seems like a very high attrition.
Yeah. It's not good.
My gosh. Unfortunately, we experienced a rocket attack at the airport, but thank God no injuries or fatalities, but 2 aircraft damaged. Oh my gosh. That's briefly my feedback that I'd like to share with you. Thanks, APG. Love you all. Mohammed, the Iraqi air traffic controller. Wow. Thank you, Mohammed, for updating us. I know it had been a while since we had heard from you, and we're happy to hear that you're safe and sound. I'm not sure what kind of life incidents or life issues that you're dealing with. We hope that it's not too great of a load on you, and our thoughts and prayers are with you, and hope that you make it through everything well.
Absolutely. Yeah. Good luck.
And welcome to our chat room. You're among family here, Mohammed, and we love you. Okay. Continuing on. Oh, we have another video. This was sent in by Steve Horn. Hey, you know, we're still looking for those HIGH, How I Got Here segments. Steve, come on. You gotta get back with the program.
Yep.
Anyway, he sent in a YouTube video link, and he has a quote here. Yes, sir. Let's do it, man. Great before takeoff phrase. Okay, so let's see what the heck he's talking about here. And let me get over here to my panel and add this to the stream. Landing at Troll Station, Antarctica. And watch out for those mountains. Oh, okay, they turned. This might be sped up a little bit.
No, it's because they're over the pole. Things happen faster down there.
Because of the gravitational something or other.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, look, there looks like a kind of a straight spot, a flat spot to land. And now. Okay. Oh, I see. That was on the ground, looking up. And this is. Okay, here we go. Now we're seeing the vantage point from the ground, watching this 767 come in for landing on this ice runway.
Lovely job.
Iceland Air. Very nice, very nice. Not as good as that Airbus A340 though, right?
No, certainly not. Not as pretty.
Okay, at some point here, I don't know at what point. Where I'm going to try to find the place where they're about to take off, because I don't remember hearing this, the thing that Steve quoted. Must be getting close to this point. All right, let's see. All right, I'm going to start right there.
Yes, sir. Let's do it, man.
Let's do it, man.
Yes, sir. Let's do it, man. And now they're rolling down the road. All right. So if you want to check out this video, we'll have the link in the show notes.
We've started a trend, you know, people sharing Antarctic landing videos. We should have a collection of every type along.
I wouldn't imagine there are probably too many of those videos. Maybe there are. But Muhammad in our live audience says, I'm still a trainee in aerodrome position. Unfortunately, there are no heavy traffic in the airport, so trainers can't certify me. And then he has a little emoji with a tear falling out of the eye. Oh. Well, we need to get some people with, you know, big airplanes to land there so you can get all checked out. Yeah, Rick. Maybe that's what Rick's doing right now. Yeah.
You never know.
Okay, thank you, Liz. She says we have 10 minutes until the 2-hour mark, so let's continue moving on with some more feedback and trying to catch my place here. Oh, well, here's a good one. This is from Larry Geezer, and he says, "Don't you dare mention this on APG." Oh, up too late. Sorry. There's a cartoon and a bunch of old geezers sitting on park benches, looking not very happy. And there's a sign here that says, "Caution: geezers will erupt without warning." Not geysers, but geezers. Yeah, very cute. Well, thank you, Larry Geezer. We don't want to make him erupt. All right, continuing. Larry. Oh, that's 3 Larry items in a row. Thanks, Liz. He says, "Dear JNNA, SPMR, and LP," and I guess we should add NC. "Here's a good article about anti-missile or missile technology that could be shared with the community. At the end of the article, there are some related topics for interesting reading." He says, no mention of shimmy dampers, though. The calendar is barren this month. Maybe you can pick up a 2611 for a Tulsa meetup. That's the flight number. I know a German restaurant with a selection of brews. That sounds good. Now, I don't believe I have any Tulsa layovers this month. By the way, I finally got off my duff and updated the APG community calendar and put my trips on there. So, okay, Dallas, Charlotte, Columbia, White Plains, Dayton, and White Plains the rest of the month. So, but I think I bid for some trips next month that have Tulsa layovers. So maybe we'll get to check out that German restaurant next month, Larry. Anyway, the article that he sent us a link to is from ops.group/blog. And last line of defense, anti-missile tech on civilian aircraft. Oh, yeah, I guess that was because of FedEx's wanting to, withdrawn proposal to put anti-missile defense on its A320s or 321s, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So let's see. The FAA was left scratching its head. There were no rules in place to allow them to respond with a yay or even a nay. It's almost uncharted territory for commercial aviation, so much so that they're asking the public for feedback. But with surface-to-air weaponry a growing threat to aviation in conflict zones around the country or around the world, why is flying higher or avoiding them our only line of defense when these countermeasures could be installed as our last? After all, they work for the military. Why not for us, the civilian aviators of the world? Anyway, it goes on and talks about various types of countermeasures. And this is the kind of stuff that Captain Nick is very familiar with. Used to use a lot of these countermeasures, didn't you? To avoid...
Yeah, most of the aircraft that I flew were fitted with them. But the problem is that the sort of top-notch military countermeasures that will defeat the latest generation of surface-to-air missile, they're pretty highly classified and unlikely to be given the technology to a civilian outfit where you don't know where it's going to go afterwards or who's going to have access to it when it's landing away in a different part of the world, how you keep your secret and keep that technology secret. So that's one thing. I mean, I've read some of the articles. They talk about some of the very basic initial countermeasures that have been around since World War II, more or less. Chaff and flares, basically. Chaff is little strips of aluminium released in packets of the same wavelength as a radar might be. It might confuse a radar fuse or a radar tracking missile, but missiles have moved on well past that because of the length of time that chaff has been around. The missile manufacturers have found ways to defeat it. The most basic being when you release chaff, it comes to a halt almost immediately. So an aircraft doesn't react like that. So a missile tracking something that has suddenly stopped in midair, it'll reject that and go back and reacquire the aircraft. Same with flares. It's possible to have flare rejection technology inside a missile, so that perhaps be unlikely at times to be able to use flares successfully. You've got airline pilot has got to be able to see the missile coming to know when to release flares, or you have to have a device on board which detects the missile coming at you. Usually something like a small pulse Doppler radar, which now requires you to have another radar unit fitted on the aircraft pointing backwards. Well, in fact, in most directions, downwards and backwards, which is going to be expensive, and that has to learn to trigger the flares. You can't have it triggering them too close to the ground. It could be a danger to the public or to the airfield if you have magnesium flares popping out of an aircraft. Is it on short finals? You can imagine that happening over a fuel farm on a civilian airport. It's going to be a nightmare. So,
and those magnesium is not magnesium fire is not an easy thing to put out.
No, absolutely not. And burns very hot, so it can burn straight through other metals. So and that's just the most basic form of counter missile technology that's out there. The sort of stuff that you really need if someone's launching sophisticated missiles at you, you're unlikely to be able to get hold of. Let alone the cost. It's going to be the cost of fitting another engine at least, several $1 million to every airframe. So I'm not sure it'll happen. Much better to steer clear of places. There aren't that many places in the world where you're in, there's a major threat. And when one appears, I wouldn't be going anywhere near the Russian borders right now, but You've just got to pay the money to go round, and it's a lot cheaper than either losing an airplane or having to pay to have all your aircraft fitted with anti-missile technology.
No need for that, Nick, because Craig has just come up with a solution.
All
Can't
right.
passengers jam enemy radar with their 5G phones?
Yeah, that's a perfect solution. I hadn't thought of that. Yeah.
Thank you, Craig. And also, iHall Boxes is mentioning something about hex code spoofing. I'm not even sure I understand what that is. Does it have something to do with identify friend and foe or something? I don't know.
He's talking hexadecimal, I guess. I don't know.
Elaborate, iHall Boxes. What is hex code spoofing? Pardon me, Liz? Oh, yes. Liz says that you can send us in some feedback regarding hex code spoofing if you'd like. In the meantime, thank you for... how do I get rid of that? Okay, hide. There we go. So if you want to read this article that we were just referring to and then Larry sent us, again, in the show notes. And finally, Larry sent us in another piece of feedback, and it, of course, is, he said, I think that Captain Nick had this idea first. And again, it's our favorite cartoonist, Gary Larson, Far Side cartoon. And there is a hot air balloon with a bird with a very, very pointy bill. Yes, I guess a woodpecker or a balloon pecker in this case, about to do his pecking on this hot air balloon envelope, and the two balloonatics in the basket. Well, thanks for noticing, Liz. She said something about a big pecker on the.
Well, I was looking at the two balls hanging from the bottom of that basket.
Oh my gosh! Yeah, family show.
I think they're sandbags.
Oh, I see. Yeah, they've been called worse.
Yeah. Yeah, this is the latest anti-balloon technology. You can train woodpeckers to do this.
Can you? Okay.
Yeah. In fact, I've released a few in Australia, so we should find out the results before long.
Okay. Excellent. Well, thank you, Larry, for the contributions to our show. And
very
now,
funny, Larry. Very funny.
It is perfect timing. It's time for us to play something that we've really missed here. It's been a couple of weeks since we've had a Plain Tale. This week's version or installment is entitled The Life-Saving Bombers. And so without further ado, take it away, old pilot.
The Old Pilot's Plain Tales. The Life-Saving Bombers. It's 2008, and a McDonnell Douglas DC-10 is flying over Southern California. The DC-10 was the world's first three-engined wide-body airliner, with two of its big General Electric CF-6s slung in pods under the giant wings, and a third, looking a little out of place, wedged into the base of its fin, the vertical stabilizer. This massive airliner was designed to convey some 300 passengers around the world in comfort and safety. Its first-class section would have been quiet and refined, with big, comfortable recliners for the passengers who could watch the planet drift along beneath them from 35,000 feet whilst they sipped on their champagne cocktails. Today, this wide-body airliner was down around 200 feet and doing a mere 165 knots, but not as you might expect on the final approach to Los Angeles International Airport at the end of another long trans-Pacific flight from Tokyo, nor were there any seats on board for the passengers. The aircraft was nowhere near an airport and doing a completely different job. Instead of a cargo of bored businessmen and excited holidaymakers, this aged aircraft, it was 31 years old, was carrying 12,000 gallons, that's 45,000 litres of bright red liquid in a huge tank attached to the centre of the fuselage. A short while before, the big airliner had been on the ground with water hoses attached, and a massive weight of fire retardant was being loaded in just 20 minutes. Now they were chasing a tiny King Air around a mile away into a smoke-filled valley near Tehachapi, about 100 miles north of Los Angeles. Their usual lead plane had departed to refuel, so they had joined up with the backup aircraft. The little King Air was difficult to keep in sight as it buzzed through the smoke billowing from the fires below, leading them deeper into an inferno of burning wood. The temperatures on the ground were unimaginable. Wood smoulders at 380 degrees centigrade, that's 720 degrees Fahrenheit, and will ignite at 590 degrees centigrade, 1,000 degrees Fahrenheit. But an established wildfire has a wave of heat that precedes it, running at 800 degrees centigrade, 1,470 Fahrenheit. The volume of turbulent, fast-rising air was a big problem for the spotter plane that led the massive water bomber in. But for the airliner, with its weight and momentum, it wasn't expected to be too rough. Inside the DC-10's cockpit, the crew of 3 were on their third run of the day over the wildfire that would, by the end, have consumed 12,400 acres of forest. Their previous drops had successfully damped down several edges of the blaze, but parts were still out of control. Through the windshield, they could see a wall of smoke rising up against the bright blue Californian sky. They were aiming for a ridge which was off on their left-hand side, along which they would paint a line, a red streak with a cascading stream of retardant liquid. Fire retardant is mainly water, but mixed in are phosphates and sulfate salts, which prevent combustion of the cellulose that makes up the organic plant material, and also acts as a fertilizer to encourage new growth once the fire has passed. To stop the water-salt mix from atomizing or evaporating quickly, a clay known as Fuller's Earth, commonly found in beauty products, paint, plaster, adhesives and pharmaceuticals, is mixed in along with guar gum, a thickening agent. The colour comes from iron oxide, which has the advantage of marking where recent drops are, but after a few days in the sun it will fade to an earthy shade of brown. To top it all off are a few trade secret additives and some corrosion inhibitors and flow conditioners. The life of a wildfire has various stages, and the use of aerial firefighting aircraft is often one of the final resources to be bought in, as hopefully other methods will have worked before resorting to this expensive strategy. One of the most important factors in dealing with wildfires is how quickly the smoke can be spotted. In the past, the U.S. Forest Service had 10,000 lookouts in which lonely observers would gaze across the treetops for days on end, looking for the telltale wisps of smoke rising through the canopy of trees. Nowadays, only a few hundred remain, their job being done by infrared cameras, drones, aircraft and satellites. It was always a solitary job, sitting out in the wild, the target of marauding bears, storms and lightning. Strikes are common on those high towers, so the observers sit on wooden stools with big glass insulators on the legs. Some countries attack the first signs of smoke with water bombers, but an aerial attack can't entirely put out a fire. That needs firefighters on the ground. In the US, a rapid response team is dispatched, fully kitted out with firefighting gear and water-carrying vehicles. If the location is a little more remote, then a plane or a small helicopter will be dispatched. This is usually just to check it out and give a rough estimate of how big the fire is, but in some cases they'll carry smoke jumpers. There are 9 such teams in the US, but they are also established in Russia and Canada. After parachuting in, they're supplied by drops of food, water and firefighting tools, making them self-sufficient for at least 48 hours. The initial responders use both dry and wet firefighting techniques. The dry method involves creating boundaries around the fire and letting it burn itself out. Either way, they try to contain it as soon as possible, hopefully during this initial attack. But if it can't be dealt with in the first hour or so, then they move on to the next phase, the extended attack. For this, a lot more resources are required. The more time a wildfire has to burn, the bigger it gets and the more difficult it becomes to control. As soon as the fire passes the first response phase, an incident control team is assembled, which requires a coordination and control center to deal with the wider strategy. If the fire is close to a town, then they'll throw everything at it. Initially just vehicles and firefighters, but that will quickly escalate to fire trucks and then much larger tankers. They use a lot of machinery, like bulldozers, to clear vegetation and create boundaries. The tactics they use depends on the type of terrain. Attacking a grass fire differs dramatically from the methods used to fight a pine fire or a tall forest fire. But generally speaking, it's a two-phased operation made up of direct and indirect attacks. The direct attack is aimed at the flanks of the fire to narrow the front. This is often done with water, fire beaters, or by digging earth boundaries parallel to the flames. The work usually starts from the areas that have already been burnt, because these are unlikely to catch fire again. If the fire is too intense, and it's not safe to send people and fire trucks in, then indirect attacks are made. This means positioning crews away from the fire, burning down vegetation ahead of the flames and attacking it with aircraft. The aircraft drop fire retardant and water, but if the smoke gets too bad and visibility drops, airborne attacks will have to cease. If that occurs, it might be time to work with the police and the army to try and evacuate people and close roads. If it's too late for them to leave, then they'll have to stay and defend themselves. That's when it's actually safer for people to prepare their houses and stay inside. In a worst-case scenario, there might be hundreds of people on the ground, multiple different agencies involved and several aircraft in the skies, as it was when our DC-10 was turning in to line up for its drop over a Kern County ridge in July 2008. The attack pattern that the King Air and the following tanker made was similar to a big circuit, and the DC-10 crew had been briefed to cross the ridgeline and drop at 7,700 feet on a pressure setting of 29.96 inches on a heading of 095 degrees. The tanker was about a mile behind the lead aircraft, and they advised that they were descending down to the attack altitude. The King Air pilot advised that there wasn't any turbulence, and he gave a short description of the drop area and the start point, and then he looked behind to watch the DC-10 approach the ridge. Lead aircraft are used to assist tankers in the approach profile to the drop site. The pilots are provided with more extensive training in low-level flight and fire management, and they generally fly a profile run whilst the tanker orbits and keeps constant view of the lead aircraft. The tanker then joins the lead aircraft and flies an identical profile whilst completing the retardant drop. The DC-10 captain turned his aircraft left to line up, reaching 35 degrees of bank, following the track of the King Air in front. He had been listening to the commentary of his crew and the lead aircraft. 12 miles, 180 knots, 7 miles, 500 feet, 300 feet. but he had allowed the tanker to drop a little below the height of the King Air in front. He's banking left, but hits what he thinks is turbulence, and his aircraft drops down amongst the treetops, which are suddenly up all around the windshield. His reaction is immediate. He pulls back hard and piles the power on, but it's too late. The sound and thuds of their wings impacting the trees is obvious. There's a sharp intake of breath, but then they're through and climbing away. The flight engineer is up out of his seat to confirm they have damage to the left aileron, slats and flaps. They climb and then dump the retardant before limping back to their base. The first tree they hit was 45 feet high at a base elevation of 7,786 feet. Then they ploughed through 12 more before climbing away. There was extensive damage done to the aircraft, but the crew had survived. Not so for everyone doing this dangerous job. After some prominent air tanker crashes in 2002, a federal panel was convened that dubbed the safety record for air tankers as abysmal. 136 crew had been killed doing their job since the 1950s, often because the aircraft they were using were old, usually ex-military machines that were close to the end of their lives and not really suitable for the rigours of low flying. The concept of aerial water-bombing fires stretches back to Friedrich Karl von König-Worthausen's observations of a blaze whilst overflying California in 1929 during his round-the-world flight. He was en route from San Francisco to Los Angeles when he saw a large bushfire, which apparently prompted him to envision aerial firefighting, using flame-retardant chemicals as part of the future for aviation. Wildfires have been a part of a natural cycle in our environment for as long as there have been plants around to burn. Post-fire charcoal sediments have been found and aged to the Silurian period, 419 million years ago. They've been such a regular occurrence that species of plants have evolved to rely on fire for their growth and reproduction. Before mankind came on the scene, lightning strikes were the source of ignition, although some large birds, such as the black kites of Australia, have been known to pick up burning brands and drop them in a new area so that they can catch the prey flushed out by the fire that they started. Early man managed their environment and used fire to generate new growth, but modern man is by far the most common cause of the wildfires that have plagued us in recent history, whether by arson, accident, or through man-made infrastructure. Fires caused by downed electricity cables have led to some of the most damaging wildfires ever recorded. The California Camp Fire of 2018 was the most destructive wildfire in the world. Although it cost 85 people their lives, it was only the 13th most deadly worldwide. However, it was estimated that the power company responsible for the poor maintenance of their lines had liability of $30 billion. They filed for bankruptcy. Early attempts to extinguish fires from the air proved difficult. In 1930, the U.S. Forest Service used an old Ford trimotor to drop a beer keg full of water over a fire, but it wasn't until the post-World War II era that the surplus of military aircraft made it feasible to experiment cheaply with the concept of aerial firefighting. The development of crop dusters went hand in hand with water bombers, but it was quickly discovered that the water would rapidly evaporate, often before it even reached the ground. Small containers of water that would break on impact with the ground were tried, but eventually two men, Joe Ely of the Forest Service and Floyd Nolte, an agricultural pilot, found that their modified Stearman worked well if they sprayed a slurry of water and sodium calcium borate. From there, the inventory of firefighting aircraft grew until there are now a plethora of vehicles available. Almost any utility or transport helicopter can be converted to carry a specialized firefighting bucket, which it fills from a local supply and can deliver with great accuracy. Fixed-wing aircraft that are commonly used vary from the light air tractor through the medium-sized C-130 Hercules and PBY Catalina to the heavy DC-10s and Aleutian IL-76. There have even been a few Boeing 747 supertankers in service, but the last one was retired in 2021. Almost all these aircraft have been converted into aerial tankers, but there's at least one purpose-built aircraft, the Canadair CL-415 Super Scooper. This medium-sized amphibious flying boat can dip into almost any reasonably sized body of water in flight to scoop up and refill its water tanks in seconds, allowing it to make repeated passes over a wildfire without having to return to an airfield to refill its tanks. As such, it's become a very popular choice for many countries, particularly Canada, France, Greece, Italy, Morocco, Spain and Turkey. Originally built by Canadair, it's now produced by Viking Air. Perhaps the ultimate water bomber, however, was the enormous Martin Mars flying boat. It could scoop 30 tons of water in only 22 seconds. But although 4 were converted to aerial tanker duties, only 2 remain, and sadly none are currently out there fighting fires.
And we're back.
Well, I'm here.
Let's see. Where's my camera?
Oh.
I thought that this command... Oh, there we go. Oh,
I'll tell you what happened. I
Nick
turned mine off so it would... I turned mine off so it would cool down a bit during the plane tail. There we go. That's better.
And Nick C is gone.
Oh, no. There
he is. Never mind. Yay. We're back. Very cool. Lots of information about the history of water bombing is all new to me.
Me likewise. That's why it took me like 2 weeks to assemble that one, because, you know, I write a lot of my tales from previous knowledge and experience. When you've got to research a subject from scratch, it takes some doing, and I knew nothing about firefighting from the air. I now know a little bit, but I would not really call myself an expert by any means.
That Martin Mars, I think the one.
Oh, yeah.
Was that last one you were talking about? This incredible scooping capability.
Yeah, absolutely. There are a couple on a lake somewhere, but they're not currently flying. They're laid up. But they're ex-World War II, those things. They're a huge piece of kit.
I think they had one at Oshkosh a couple of years ago that landed in the and hit something and did a lot of damage to the hull.
Yeah,
really?
It landed in Lake Winnebago, which is the lake right next to the airport there, where they actually have a seaplane base for Oshkosh.
Mm-hmm.
And they had a precautionary landing because they had some sort of engine warning indicator or something. And when they landed, they hit something on the bottom of the airplane and were laid up there for a day or two doing repairs, however you do repairs on a seaplane in the water.
Yeah.
Oh, I've done a story about that. A guy lands his seaplane in the middle of Africa, and it was a huge Empire flying boat. And they had to send engineers down to darkest Africa to repair the damn thing.
Wow.
Oh, very impressive. Anyway, yeah, that was kind of good. Wildfires, of course, traditionally, the knowledge has been gained, and they people know how to fight them. But wildfires following long droughts and increased summer temperatures have escalated in severity, and that. I was just watching The Planet, which is a really good nature documentary we have here with Richard Attenborough narrating and out there saying that the fires, they're worried that they are going to get so intense that the plants that can regrow afterwards, the heat of the fire will be so great that it will actually penetrate the earth and destroy all the seeds that might be there waiting to pop out once the fire has gone, and so that you'll just be left with a desert after a wildfire, which would be a nightmare.
That's no good. I also thought it was interesting. You were talking about that bird that was actually picking up pieces, burning embers to start another fire somewhere else to help them.
There are a number of species that have been observed doing this trick, which I think is pretty clever, using a tool like that. I'm not quite sure how it flies along without burning itself, because it's got burning twigs in its mouth. When it flies forward, surely they catch fire and burn its face, but I don't know.
Or its feathers or something.
Perhaps it flies backwards.
Liz is saying the previous plane tale, an engineer's story.
Oh, that's right.
APG 213 was the episode that plane tale was played on. Thank you, Liz. Wow.
Well, that is brilliant.
Thanks, staff.
And by the way, Frederick Karl von König of Worthausen was the chap that was first flew over a fire and went, I think we should drop stuff on these fires. That would be very clever. He's actually the subject of the next plane tale, because once I found about him, I discovered he'd done some very interesting things. So the next plane tale is, and I'm saying this because poor old Roger's not going to have time to read it out in the intro for the next show. It's Frederick Karl von König Worthausen and the Crazy Baron.
Okay. I'll have to get a
Tune
clip
in
of
next
you saying
week.
that, and then we'll just slide that right on in. All right. Very good. Well, I look forward to that. We all do. And so nice to have the Plain Tales back on the show.
Thanks very much.
Even if it means having to have you as well.
I could just send you the Plain Tales.
Oh, that's an idea. Of course, he knows I'm kidding. Okay. Let's continue on with number 9. Feedback from Rob Legal in Providence, Rhode Island. He says, now that's a fly club. Sent us a link to a BBC.com article about a retired Boeing 747 that has been transformed into a party venue. And we're now showing on the video a few photos of the 747 where it's parked, and then some interior shots, and then, of course, it in action if you're someone who wants to go to the APG disco in London.
I love it.
Yeah, Carlos can be our DJ. That'd be great.
But I think there's a downside to this. It's just encouraging people to get drunk on airplanes.
Oh, that's true. That's true. The aircraft in Kemble, Gloucestershire, has been painted in. How do I do on that? Okay.
Kemble, yes, and Gloucestershire, yes. Gloucestershire. That's not bad. Kemble used to be an RAF base. The Red Arrows used to be, or it might have been the Yellow Jacks in those days, used to be based there, and Central Flying School. It's quite a well-known old airfield, no longer. It's civvy now.
Oh. Let's see. It's the airplane's been painted in the. Is it Negus or Negus? How do you? Negus.
I think either will suffice.
Okay. That adorned the airline's planes in the 70s and 80s. Its galley's been transformed into a bar and party venue with and the first party booking is due to take place next month, with a wedding booked for spring. Most of the plane has been preserved as a museum piece, and public tours will be available to book via an app. And so anyway, interesting article. Thank you, Rob, for making us aware of that. Let's see. Devin has a pilot PA inquiry. Hello, Liz, fellow APG passengers and flight crew. This is yet another West Coast listeners who you will never come out to meet. Oh, that's not true, Devin. He goes, just kidding. On a recent Southwest flight from Vegas to Sacramento on a 737-700, I found the pilot PAs, the pilot public announcements, the PAs, virtually inaudible, either on the ground or in flight. I found it quite annoying, as I typically enjoy hearing what the pilots say. How else am I supposed to know what direction the winds are coming from at my destination? Anyway, have you ever been, I think he was being a little sarcastic there. Anyway, have you ever been told by either a crew member in flight or a passenger after landing that they were unable to hear any of the PAs? Do you think that this may be a safety concern if an emergency were to arise? It would be pretty shocking to find that we had diverted to Reno and was unable to hear the PA telling us so. If you were told that it was hard to hear in the back, would you be able to control the volume from the cockpit? Hope all is well. Keep the blue side up. And he says, P.S. Jeff, fun fact. If I have my fun fact correct, that is, you were born in the same hospital as he and his twin, St. Mary's Memorial Hospital in Long Beach, California. Just many, oh, you didn't have to do that. He capitalized the second many years between us, or before us. Yes, Devin from Sacramento. Yes, and I was born at St. Mary's Memorial Hospital in December of 1958. Many years probably before you and your twin. And so, Nick, I'll let you start with the answer here because you actually wrote back to Devin regarding this.
Yeah, the very simple answer is the PA system is very much a safety device. We use it to give information to our passengers, but primarily it's there as a way for us to communicate with both the passengers and the cabin crew en masse in the event of an emergency. So if it's not working properly, it needs to be written up. On my aircraft, one of the reasons that everybody on the aircraft made a little PA was to ensure that the PA could be transmitted and heard from every station on the aircraft, including the flight deck. Primarily the captain's headset, that was the one we had to use, because that's the one you would probably have on in an emergency, and that everyone could hear it. And occasionally you would get back a message from part of the aircraft saying, PA's a bit quiet down here. So we would make sure that it was adequate for the flight. And if not, we'd get an engineer on board to fix it, because it is important. The backup are loud hailers that are positioned usually around the doors so that if the PA system isn't working, say you've had a power failure, the cabin crew can grab those and bellow at the passengers through a loud hailer, telling them what to do. But yeah, it's very important. So if you do notice that the PA is not coming through to your part of the aircraft when you're a passenger, please alert the cabin crew. They may not understand the significance. They should, but they may not. So if you've got a pilot seeing you off the airplane and thanking you for flying with them, then mention it to them, and they should nip back and write it up.
Yes, and I don't know, none of the airplanes that I've flown, Captain Nick, have had any kind of a volume control knob for the PA up in the cockpit. I think that's a engineer or maintenance technician's job or I guess responsibility to ensure that the volume is correct, and I think they have to take off panels and use screwdrivers and that kind of thing to adjust that kind of thing.
Yeah, there's going to be a set of rheostats in the aircraft somewhere, and certainly when the aircraft goes in for a C check and is stripped apart, that'll be one of the things they will check, and they will check and balance the audio throughout the aircraft so that it comes out clearly and audibly from everywhere. But of course things change, and sometimes you get a fault and it will alter it. The engineer might be able to fix it, or it might need stripping out and replacing. But either way, it needs to be attended to.
Yeah. I do find it also frustrating when I'm traveling non-revenue passenger or deadheading on a flight, and I know that the pilot is making a PA and I can't understand a darn thing that they're saying. And I try to remember to brief to my flight attendants that if the PAs are like the volume is too low, or they're just plain not understandable, to let us know so that we can use a different way of making the announcements. So when we do the check on the ground, we usually are just using the handset, and usually the volume on that is pretty adequate. But a lot of times we will use, as Nick mentioned, our headset microphones, and some, a lot of us use our own personal headsets, and some of them aren't very good. The microphones aren't very sensitive, and so you really can't hear very well. Now I use a Bose A20 noise reduction headset, and it has a really great microphone on it. That's the reason why I really love the thing, and usually have no complaints when it comes to being able to hear what I'm saying and the volume. And iHall Boxes has good advice. It's generally a good idea to go to the lavatory before making your PA. Get it? Very clever. Not really. But
that was terrible.
That was really not good at all, I have to say. Good points made regarding PAs.
So I mentioned earlier, the route that I take to go to work in California, I unfortunately often get stuck on CRJs from Denver to California. Mm-hmm. And it seems like I've always had the most trouble with that on the CRJs. I don't know if it's because it's an older airplane or because it's a little louder with the fuselage mounted engines, but I think I've always had the most trouble. I can hear that a PA is being made, but it's kind of the unintelligible aspect of it, like you said, that gets a little frustrating.
Yeah, worrying too, because whilst you often don't care what the hell the PA is, if they're saying something that's important for you to save your life during an incident, you really want to know what's being said.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I would hope, I don't know if this is the case, but I would hope that if there really is something happening, maybe the pilot's got a little more adrenaline going and he's speaking a little louder, a little more forcefully, rather than some of those PAs where it seems like even the pilots are kind of on autopilot and they're kind of flowing through there, we've reached 10,000 feet and, we have 2 hours and 20 minutes to our destination, and only half-heartedly into it, I suppose.
Right.
Yeah.
Come on, guys. Or guys and gals, let's spiff up those PAs and make sure that people can hear them, and it might be worth mentioning in your pre-flight briefing to the head flight attendant that if they're hard to hear, usually they're ignoring anything that we say, whether it's something that they can hear or not. Because I can't tell you how many times I've made a PA and said, when we're going to be touching down, when we are expecting to arrive at the gate, and 5 minutes later, what time, passengers wondering what time we might, I thought, did you not just hear me say, I'm so disappointed in you. Anyway, and I thought, you missed my PA on the sound of my voice. How could you do that?
That's right, yeah.
Because, thank you.
Devastating.
Liz says, I give good PA. In fact, the problem with my PAs, just like this show, when people listen to my voice, they fall asleep. And the flight attendants actually like that. Yeah, the first officer, he usually falls asleep as well. Let's see, what was I going to say? Oh, I just remembered, Liz, Gubby sent some feedback to us. He had a meetup in Ottawa, and I was going to play that during the getting to know us, but because I didn't write it in the show notes, I forgot to. And let me get back to his email, and I think it's because he sent it directly to me and not to the feedback email address. So let me read what he has to say. So someone finally agreed to come and have a beer with me. Andrew Lushman kindly met me at my stepson's restaurant Playback in Ottawa, and we spent a couple of hours gassing about APG aeroplanes made of aluminium and eating top grub, I'm not sure, prepared by Ryan, who is his stepson. Andrew chose a wonderfully named IPA in honor of your IPA connoisseurs. Juicy Ass IPA from the Flying Monkey Brewery. I love that. We both hope to get together again in the not too distant future. $10 worth of elbow grease to the listener who can identify the aircraft on my gawping Hawaiian shirt. Get well soon, Captain Nick. Okay, so that means, let me share this. Just bear with me here. I'm going to have to kind of do this on the fly. So share screen window, and here we go. Share. I don't see anything. Do you? Oh, there we go. Thank you, Liz. So there is Paul, or Gubby, and Andrew, and I can't, it's just too small of a, oh, wait a minute. It's a helicopter. What kind of helicopter is that? Is it a Huey? I don't know. I can't really
There's a zooming in button at the bottom that I can see.
Okay. Let me see if I can zoom in there.
A helicopter. Oh, on his shirt?
Yeah. There's an 8-bladed palm tree, but I don't think that's it.
I don't think that's a Huey. There you go. Oh.
Yeah, I'm trying to zoom in, and I can't. That's as zoomed in as I can get. No, it looks like a bigger helicopter than a Huey. Maybe a Sikorsky something or other. I'm guessing. I don't know. A Sea King. Okay. Is that a Sikorsky? I think it is.
Yeah, I think it is.
Okay.
A CH something, probably.
Thanks. Good information, Nick.
Yeah,
all right.
I'm full of it.
Yes, you are. And there's, speaking of full of it, I'd like to be full of this juicy ass IPA. Plump and unfiltered. Look at that. From the Flying Monkey Brewery. I like that. And then anything else? Oh, then he actually did send us a video. So let's see here. Let me get back to this and take this off the screen and play this. Hopefully.
So this is the inaugural meeting of the Airline Pilot Guide Chapter, brackets, Ottawa. And this is Andrew Loshman. And this is Gubby.
Now, Gubby, I hate to interrupt and I hate to be critical here, but you need to get an external microphone so that we can actually hear what you're saying. The background. Yeah, it's like a bad PA. Exactly. Thanks a lot.
I managed to find somebody who'd come out for a beer with me. So wishing everybody back at Airline Pilot Guide, especially Nick, get well soon. And we had a lovely evening out and a good meal. And it's been good.
It's been great, actually.
So introduce yourself.
So I'm Andrew. I've been a listener since let's call it the 150s. So for many years, big fan. Have loved it, and yeah, absolutely thrilled to have met Gubby here and chat a little bit about aviation. Well, a lot of it actually, and talk about the community. It's been great.
It's been great. It's been good. I'm Gubby. Those that know me, I'm in the RCA for a bit longer. Yeah, it's been a really good night out just to chat airplanes and stuff. And actually, as Ottawa is finally easing out some of the lockdowns, we've actually managed to get to a restaurant where my stepson is the head chef. does a decent meal. Playback, Ottawa.
That's true. Some good tacos.
Good tacos. Really good tacos.
Great beer.
Great beer.
I had some juicy ass beer. Actually.
You had a bit of juicy ass beer.
Yeah.
Juicy ass beer is a beer here. I just had crab canoe, which is bad if you're in a canoe, but good if you're drinking beer. So I'm going to sign off. Captain Gubby, and
I guess flight student lost.
There you go.
All right.
All the best.
All right. That's great. I love these. Take note, people. Have a meetup, whether it involves one of us here on the crew or not, and do some video and send it in, and we'll be happy to
send it in landscape.
Yeah, I was going to say Neville Downs will probably be like completely freaking out in that vertical format.
Yeah, I'm going to warn Neville not to watch this show because he'll just turn and turn.
Yeah, just turn it 90 degrees.
There you go, and stick a mic on it,
and get an external microphone. No, if it means doing it in vertical format and having the built-in microphone as Gubby just did there, then we'll take whatever we can get. But do appreciate you taking the time to do that, and I'm glad you guys got together there in Ottawa.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
With your juicy asses and everything.
Oh, Okay. StreamYard is sharing a window. No, they're not. Here, let me... Oh, I don't know why it's saying that I'm still sharing something. Okay. Let's see. How close to the end, Liz, are we? Okay. Let's just knock out one or two more and then call it a day. What do you think? Okay. This next one is from Jacob from Norway. He says, "Dear Captain Jeff and the rest of the team, I just wanted to say thank you so much for your fantastic show and the effort you have to make. Captain Jeff, I've been listening to your podcast since episode 65. I'm also a Catholic.
Done, sir.
I'm also Catholic and an airline pilot. Wow, that's cool. During the last 7 years,
I know a show just for you.
Yeah, what, the Catholic pilot? I think. Well,
the Catholic pilot show.
Yeah.
Oh wait, damn! It's not here anymore.
Not
it's
anymore.
Gone.
Yeah. Thankfully, let's see. During the last 7 years, I've been based in Norway with the same company. Hopefully, I'll be able to meet all of you one day over a beer. Once again, thank you. Best regards, Jacob Jablicki. Something like that. Thank you, Jacob from Norway, for sending in that feedback. That's awesome. 65. You've been here for a very, very long time. We do appreciate that.
Yeah, congratulations. And thanks for your support.
Yes. Gordy sent us this. Hi, Captain Jeff. I've been listening to the podcasts in cruise. It makes the top of descent come sooner.
That's because you're asleep.
Yeah, time flies when you're sleeping.
Yep.
I'm actually a 737 FO out of Dubai. I've started a YouTube channel by the name Gordy in Color. Oh, you misspelled color. Yeah, COLOUR.
Yeah, perfect. Well done, Gordy.
It's an automotive channel, but when on layovers, I produce some content from wherever I may be. I would really appreciate a shout out for the channel for any fellow fans of YouTube and wanting to see where I am going. No, we don't do that here. Oh, wait. I just did. So far, I've covered Belgrade, Bucharest, Dar es Salaam. Is that the way you'd say that?
Yep, Dar es Salaam.
Okay, Salzburg and Tirana.
Sounds good to me.
With many more to come, including Budapest this mid-month. Of course, I expect this may not be possible, but I'm such a fan of the show. I just wanted to write and tell you about it anyway. Well, it is possible. We just did it.
Oh, I found his channel, and I
only
listened
charged
to a few.
him only 20 pounds, Liz. You asked me how much I charged for that. No, I didn't charge him anything. So he says, I love the show and always nice to hear from Captain Nick and Dr. Steph.
Well, that's nice.
Sorry.
Thank you.
Miami Rick, sorry.
Yes.
Not a fan, apparently. Or Nick C. Yeah, I guess you were dissed as well. anyway, again, I did watch, found his channel and watched some of his videos, and he's definitely heavily into automotive stuff and like he has must make a lot of money as a first officer for this airline out of Dubai, because he has a lot of cars, lots of Mercedes and BMWs.
Well, most of them are like, they're a few years old, aren't they? They may be classic cars in the future, but I suspect in somewhere like that, they probably change their cars quite frequently, and the old ones probably, I would have thought, not too expensive. You can probably pick up a bargain out there.
Yeah, true that. I think that I think he lives in at least in the videos that I was looking at, somewhere in England, and not in Dubai. I think he flies out of Dubai, but I don't think he lives. I could be wrong, but I need to watch more of his videos. Apparently,
I love the ones when he's down route. Seeing his getting his opinion of where he is, what he's doing, what it's like is good, and particularly if there's something interesting driving around, it's great.
So you should check it out, Gordy in Color. And actually, on a couple of his videos, he has some like what do you call it? Words on. Words on the screen, captions,
titles,
titles. That's the one. That's the thing I was.
A technical term, yeah.
As I said, I probably need to get more sleep. Anyway, and he spells color a couple different ways. Color the way you guys do, and then color the way we do here in the cowboy land. COLOR.
You keep missing letters out. Yep.
Yeah. So either of those search terms in YouTube will probably bring up Gordy in Color, and I'll in the video. I mean, in the audio only podcast, if your player supports chapter images and such, you'll just click on it. I should have it all linked up to his channel. So thanks, Gordy, for sending that in. I'm glad you're enjoying the show, and hopefully people here will subscribe and click the bell to get notified when you put out a new video. And again, that's important for everybody that has content on YouTube to subscribe to it. Even if you don't really ever intend to look at another video, hitting that subscribe button on YouTube really makes a difference. Yes, Liz? Okay, I think it's now time to wrap up this week's show. We still have several items left in our feedback notebook, so we'll just move those on over to 510. And Liz is expressing her joy that there is feedback that we can move over to the next show. Yep, she loves leftovers. And so without further ado, let's talk about the website, airlinepilotguy.com. It's a place where you can go to find out all kinds of information about our show, including information about the individual crew members and the community and Plane Tales, extra information regarding each of those episodes there. We have the APG library. We have ways to get merchandise with Acme Air related logos and such. And what else am I missing? The APG calendar, community calendars there, and so much more. Please check it out, airlinepilotguy.com. Yeah, I talked about that. All right, let's move on to the Sochmeads. And now Nick, I know he's still here. He's listening to us because just because you turned off your video doesn't mean that you're not there, Nick. But we're gonna let Nick C give this a whirl. Can you help us with where people can go to engage with the crew on social media, Nick?
Yeah, I think I think one of the most active ones is Twitter. We have a Twitter handle at APG Crew. There's also Facebook, which I think is just Airline Pilot Guy. On Facebook, we have a email address, feedback@airlinepilotguy.com. That's popping up on the screen, so I think maybe I should be saying that. Oh, and then there's an Instagram account, APG Crew. is where you'll find us on Instagram. And I wanted to make one other quick note, Jeff, if I can, for just a second.
Yeah.
Mostly for the our American audience, but I think everybody might have access to it. You know, this Sunday, tomorrow, is a pretty big deal in the United States. The Super Bowl, which is probably our most iconic sporting event, is happening. But I wanted to mention that, they do a flyover every year. And this year, it's actually going to be the Air Force Heritage Flight, providing the flyover, which is a cool program we have here in the States where modern jets fly with vintage warbirds and stuff. And so they've got a flight lined up with a B-51, an A-10, an F-16, an F-22, and an F-35 flying over in formation. So that'll be a cool thing to see.
Oh, nice.
And that flight will be led by Steve Hinton, who's one of our friends with the C-47 group I'm a part of. He's one of the premier, if not the premier, warbird pilots in our country. And this is his last flight. This is kind of his his Finney flight for the Heritage Flight team. So that'll be neat to see if you want to tune in around the the national anthem time of that.
I was going to ask when that flyover was going to be, and that makes sense.
I think that game's 5:30 Central Time. Mm-hmm. So there'd be a lot of math we'd have to do. It's 5:30 p.m. So the Star Spangled Banner is probably about 5:20, and then +7, I think, right now. Is that right?
6 for you, Central Time.
+6. Okay, so maybe 23:20 Zulu time, I guess, is when that would happen.
Okay.
Something like that.
I've been watching adverts for it on one of our major TV channels here in the UK, so I'm pretty sure we'll get it tomorrow.
Cool.
Excellent. Okay. Liz is just confirming that the kickoff time set for 6:30 Eastern, which would be 5:30 Central, and 6:30 Eastern, 18 plus 5 is 23. Yeah, so around 23:20-ish probably.
Probably.
Somewhere in there between 23:20 and 23:30 Zulu, or UTC, or Coordinated Universal Time, or whatever you want to call it. So, excellent. Well, thanks. I've completely forgot about mentioning the Super Bowl, but I didn't know that was something that people paid attention to other than the citizens of the U.S. But thank you. Good job. And
who's playing?
The Cincinnati Bengals, who haven't been in a Super Bowl since the 70s or 90s?
Yeah, I think maybe the 80s. It's been a long time.
Yeah. Okay, a long time for them. And the Los Angeles Rams.
Yep.
They're going to be the two teams playing
Excellent.
against each other tomorrow night, or whatever time it is where you are. And let's see. Oh, we can't leave the show without talking about our Slack team. And let's see if I can get Hillel's attention here. Let me turn up the volume of the microphone and the. Hey, Hillel. Hillel. You have time for Slack?
Okay, but I'm dripping wet.
Okay, that's all right. Come on over here and tell us all about Slack.
APG listeners, please join us on our Slack team. Slack is a communication, coordination, and sharing platform that works on your mobile, laptop, or browser. On Slack, we share news and ideas. We suggest episode and Plain Tales topics. We plan events and meetups. To get into the Slack team, please email me at slack@airlinepilotguy.com. That's SLACK, Sierra Lima Alpha Charlie Kilo @airlinepilotguy.com, or send me a tweet with your preferred email address to @Hillel, and I'll send you an invitation. That's Hillel, spelled Hotel India 11 Echo 1, and see you in Slack.
All right, thank you very much, Hillel.
Can you get me a roll of toilet paper?
After the show. Thank you. All right. Yeah. And finally, we want to thank our... Okay, well, we got 50% accuracy on the last time the Bengals were in the Super Bowl, 1988. Well, we did
Wow.
say the 80s. I think, yeah, I was off and Nick C was on it. So, yeah, there you go. There's your 50%, right?
Well done, guys.
And thank you. And without further ado, let's thank Liz Piper doing all the hard work behind the scenes.
Yay, well done, Liz.
Thanks, everybody. My
Thank
pleasure.
you.
All right, and with that, we're going to go ahead and hang up and say, wishing you all clear skies, unlimited visibility, and tailwinds. Take care, and God bless.
Ta-ta for now.
Bye, everybody.
Thanks for joining us. See you again.
Perfect.
See, we can follow instructions.
You do. You guys
Sometimes.
follow instructions well. All right. Just hung up on clean feed because I was hearing you in both places. Like,
Oh, yeah,
like I was
sorry.
in the. I was no problem. You were in the stadium in Los Angeles for the Super Bowl a day early.
So Micah had a really clever, I thought, and potentially good show title. It is The Tracks of My Gears.
The tracks of my the
tracks of my
tracks
tears.
of my tears, the tracks of my gears.
Yeah, or my gear,
I think that
guess.
would be something you could illustrate pretty well, Nick. An airplane, Airbus A321 going off a runway. And
Yeah.
leaving tracks.
Well, I was thinking going off a record, but there you go.
Oh, yeah, there you go. That's even more creative than
That's
you
good.
know, me, the simpleton.
Is this like the circular runway?
Not the dreaded circular runway. There you go. Yes, and we could do a circular record runway.
Cool.
So do we
All right,
need
yeah,
to look
'cause the
farther?
tracks,
That's
I
a good
can
one.
see What's that?
That's the good one. We don't need any more suggestions.
Okay, yeah,
That's
you can
fine
work
for
with that.
me.
Catalog.
What number is this? 9?
9.
509.
9, she said in German. 9.
Nine. Du bist ein hübsch Fräulein.
Bye, IL. Nice to see you. Thanks for
Yeah.
dropping
What was it?
in.
The tracks of my
Gear or tears.
Gear.
Or gears. Your cat's my gears or Jack's my gear. Something like that.
Tracks of my gears. Because you'd have to have an S on the end of it, right?
You would. Yeah, otherwise
Yeah,
it would
yeah.
sound a bit funny.
Right.
It's not right for the music. For the
Don't forget to turn off the recorders.
right.
Mine's off. Is gear actually singular and plural?
Yes.
Landing gears.
Unless
landing
you're a non-English speaker, and then they'll usually make it plural with an S on the end, which is not correct.
Okay. So we can't have tracks of my gears.
Well,
Well, actually,
we
there are
could.
2 types of gears.
Poetic
could,
license.
yeah, yeah.
Poetic license.
Yeah. I
a
think
cogged,
we could get
a
away with
cogged
it.
gear, you can have plural
Oh
of
yeah,
those. can't
gears.
you?
Like yeah.
Yeah.
Right, the
that's
gears
true.
were turning. Yeah. The
Yeah.
clock.
Cool.
Oh, okay. There you go.
Phew. It's all legit.
Yeah, during the plane tail, I finally said it's just getting too cold in here, so I turned the heat back on. And hopefully, it didn't make too much.
No, I couldn't hear it
No,
at all.
not at all. Sorry about my camera. It seems to have settled down now, but it was
now
playing
now
up
it
the
does.
whole.
Nick's camera was too hot and you were too cold. Nobody's
Yeah.
ever happy.
I mean, I turned it off all the way through the plane tail. And as soon as I turned it back on again, it started flashing like the devil. There you go.
I guess because you haven't used it in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, it could be. Doesn't like
Maybe.
being turned
Well,
off.
thanks for getting up early, Nixie.
Yes.
Yeah, no
Thank you, sir.
problem.
Yeah. Yeah,
And,
good man. Got a long day ahead now.
And Nick, you didn't
good
have
luck
to
with
stay up
the-
late.
No, I
good.
didn't. I've got time to do the artwork right now.
And I have time to get in my car and drive the couple hours down to Roswell and sing.
Sing
this
up a
afternoon.
storm.
Excellent.
So, yeah. And thank you, all of you in the chat room for, I know that some of you are up in the middle of the night, and some of you are, it's early morning, some late evening. Wherever you are and whatever time it is, thank you for spending the time with us this week.
Love it.
And we do love it.
Absolutely.
We love you, and we hope to see you again next time on the next
Glad you were here,
episode.
Laura. Nice to see you.
Yeah. Of
Absolutely.
APG.
Happy birthday and all that.
Yeah. All right, and I hope to see some of you maybe in London on the 26th of the month,
Yep.
and for the PTUK thing.
Yes, it is 26 in the Brooklands Hotel.
All right. I'm wondering if we should try to record a show while no, that means I have to take all my gear with me. Well, we'll think about it. We'll think.
No, you don't. We can do it.
Oh, that's
from
right.
Here.
You have gear here. There.
I have gear here.
Nick's studio.
Well, let's talk about that after we
Yeah.
stop the broadcast. Okay. Well, anyway, we're gonna hit the end broadcast button here, and thanks again, everybody. We love you. And
Great to see
Have
y'all.
a great weekend. Bye.
Cheers. Bye, everybody.
See ya.